time to Kincade and Salciunas is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
All right, let's start the show with my incredible journalistic integrity, Johnny. Sources have told me that John Kincade is interested in the Eagles' offensive coordinator position.
Oh, yes.
I have not been told yet whether or not there will be an interview conducted, but I know that John Kincade has expressed interest in the vacant offensive coordinator position that continues to be vacant a couple weeks now.
I'm organized.
Since the Eagles lost.
I'm organized.
You are? You know how to read a sheet?
I promised that I could put together I couldn't scheme it. I'd need, DeCecco to come over with me.
Okay.
To, sort of lay things out more.
You're not allowed
X's and
to.
O's.
You're not allowed to have him, though, because Jeff Stoutland's going to.
Oh, okay.
That's
Jeff Stoutland gets to call that. But I know this. I could be more creative on when we would run and when we would pass.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, compared to what
I might not give that to you.
Compared to what I saw this year, I absolutely could.
Right.
I absolutely could.
So I had a glimmer of hope and excitement for 2 hours yesterday? You and me both. We were both there around 9:30 yesterday morning.
We felt good. We felt good.
The updated odds on the Vegas Strip for the head coaching cycle had odds-on favorites, favorites.
Davis Webb was the odds-on favorite to be the Raiders coach, and look what it was going to be. It was not going to be Joe Brady in Buffalo.
Yeah, Joe Brady was not going to be the head coach in Buffalo.
If we had bet at that point, 12-1,
we made some nice money. And then not long after that, it's announced that Joe Brady is indeed going to be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And in that 2-hour span, 9:30 to around 11:30 when it was announced, I was so excited that there was a chance that Joe Brady would have gotten passed over, respectfully, Joe. He would have gotten passed over for the job in Buffalo. He was not going to get the job in Vegas, it seemed like. And so I thought, oh, my gosh, the Eagles may have lucked into something.
Absolutely dumbed their way into getting a very, very good candidate.
Because the firing of Sean McDermott was such a shock for a lot of people that you're thinking, oh, my God, there's going to be an overhaul of a coaching staff in Buffalo. Brady might be on his way out unless he gets the head coaching job. And, of course, he gets it. But there was a time where you're thinking, wow, he could be available, and he makes perfect sense for the Eagles from everything that has been reported. Complete autonomy? Yeah, he can handle that. Can he do the things that Nick Sirianni ultimately wants to do? Yes, he can. Look at what he was able to do with the ground game in Buffalo with James Cook. And, oh, by the way, a mobile quarterback if Jalen Hurts still wants to be one. And he did that with no weapons, right? Khalil Shakir,
Nothing.
Keon Coleman, couple of tight ends that have been ultimately a disappointment for a lot of Bills fans. So I'm sitting here going, oh, my God, imagine if they get him here with what he has to work with here, even with the uncertainty of A.J. Brown. You still have Devontae Smith's a better wide receiver than anything that Buffalo has. And then he gets the job in Buffalo.
That was so disappointing. And as soon as first one in, I get Austin sends me a text, and then I get a text from a bunch of other people, and Dylan checks in. I'm just like, this is really crazy. But one thing we know, the Eagles won't be able to say to us, we got the guy we wanted all along. We know that. So they're gonna find somebody. Now look, it's worked out for them fabulously 3 times.
Yeah.
So if there's ever an organization or an owner or any team that deserves the benefit of the doubt that they can get rejected or not rejected, but just not be able to find, because they haven't been rejected by anybody. They have not offered the job to anyone.
Right.
So that they cannot get their first, second, or third choice and end up with a great choice. Andy Reid was not the first, second, or third choice.
Sure.
Nick Sirianni was not the first, second, or third choice. And Doug Peterson is not the first, second, or third choice.
I don't even know if Doug was 4th or 5th.
Yeah, I mean,
Doug was low on the list.
So this is an organization that tells me the work that they do, the interviews they hold, the due diligence that they perform, they tend to be able to sift through it and find it well. When they do poorly is when they just say, let's go in-house. Let's promote this guy.
Yeah.
They've done that poorly 2 of the last 3 years. So I am going to trust that all the interviews the Eagles are conducting, that they can find somebody that we just don't potentially know much about.
Which leads to my question for today. So I'm very glad that you set it up the way that you did. It's as if you knew where my brain was at, Johnny.
Well, I think we're of one mind sort of on this from the conversations we've had.
So I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I find out that Joe Brady gets the job in Buffalo, and oh, by the way, Brian Dable officially now going to be the offensive coordinator with the Tennessee Titans.
Which I had an emailer say to me, how did you know that was going to happen? I don't think it was a hard – people are acting like it was crazy that Brian Dable chose the Tennessee job.
By the way, it was reported like 2 weeks ago that if he didn't get the Buffalo job, that he would be going to Tennessee.
But there were so many things. He has a great relationship with Robert Saleh. They were coaching the two New York teams together. Mm-hmm. The two of them got to be friends. It's a lower pressure job. It's in a no-tax state. It's in a no-pressure market. He's not going in. And Cam Ward is clearly one of the young, bright quarterbacks in the game, young kid that is very easy to like, very easy. There's so many reasons for him to say, hey, if I do anything with the Tennessee Titans, I'm going to get an opportunity.
And that's you just saying that. That's not even you reporting.
No, it's not reporting.
But I will say, per Mike Garafolo yesterday, Brian Dable had good conversations with the Eagles.
Absolutely.
He was intrigued by a possible reunion with Jalen Hurts. But, and this is what John just said, he and Robert Saleh grew close in recent years, and there was a lot to like about Cam Ward and the Titans. So ultimately, he had a preference between the two, and he went with the Tennessee Titans. So what you just said about, look, every time the Eagles did not get their first option, it has ultimately worked, except for the in-house hires.
It's worked like fabulously. They've been hugely successful when they haven't gotten their first choice.
So I have reasons for how I feel right now. Before I express it, I want you to hear from Jeff Mosher. Jeff Mosher yesterday was on with Middays with Marks. Johnny Marks expected to be back today. That's also per sources. He's been battling the bug, which has been going around rampant. So everybody wash your hands and stay safe. This was Jeff Mosher with Ray yesterday on Middays with Marks, talking about what the Eagles don't necessarily want when it comes to the offensive coordinator position.
I certainly felt going into the process, Sean, that they would want a proven play caller. And obviously with guys like Dable and McDaniel and their interest in them, that would make sense. You know, I mean, the last two guys who have had this job who are not play callers obviously got fired after a year. And you heard Howie Roseman talk about the urgency to win now. Obviously, they don't want to go through the same process of having to have somebody nurtured through the job, specifically when Nick Sirianni hasn't really proved he can be a nurturer in that regard. So you look to Kafka, right, Nagy, those guys, but they've certainly kicked the tires on enough guys without play calling experience that leads me to believe that they have to have a plan B. If we're not going to get that guy, or if there's a guy out there who we interviewed who does have play calling experience that we just don't love, then we need to open up our minds to at least bring in someone who we think is really bright, comes from a good coaching tree, has good philosophies and strategies, and can explain them really well in an interview to make you believe that if you hire them, they're not going to need to have their hand held.
So Jeff's been covering the Eagles for a long time. You hear him talk about it.
Jeff does really good work.
He's basically telling you the Eagles' preference was always finding somebody that's done it before, which, you know, that's kind of why the disaster took place last year with Kevin Patullo. He never done it before, and he clearly showed you that he was incapable of doing it. But we're now reaching a point where the guys that have done it before, Johnny, aren't on the table unless you want a Matt Nagy, right? A guy that's done it before, but to what level? Like, are you really excited about it? So
no, a declining asset.
Right. So I'm going to make a statement, and I will have two questions, and I think you already kind of answered one of them, Johnny. When it comes to the offensive coordinator search, I've lost all excitement. Lost all of it, right? Like, I was excited for Joe Brady yesterday for 2 hours, thinking that it was a possibility because of those damn Vegas odds, and then the Vegas odds didn't hit, and then Joe Brady is now promoted in Buffalo to the head coaching job. There is not a single candidate on the market right now where I would have a reaction of awesome. There isn't.
Because you're doing it based on the logic of we don't know these guys.
No, we don't.
I spent yesterday afternoon around an hour and a half researching some of these guys, and I'm saying researching because either I'm texting people or reading because I don't know them.
Right. Sean Mannion, who was
I don't know
a quarterback in the NFL for 5 minutes.
I feel a ton better about Sean Mannion than I did yesterday, knowing nothing about him on everything that I researched, because when you do the deep dive and then you start texting some people and everything, it's like, okay, I feel a little better. But I agree. You can't go, yeah,
right,
we got him. But that doesn't mean that they haven't gotten it. That doesn't mean that they haven't gotten the guy. Like, I would, as much as I respect Jeff Mosher, Moshe does a great job. I completely disagree with him, though. They don't need, to me, the guy that they want the guy. I don't need the guy who's done it before, who's called plays. I need a bright, innovative mind, because at one time, Ben Johnson and Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan and all these guys, they got their first chance to call plays, and they were huge successes.
Right.
And a lot of them got them in their 20s or early 30s.
Right.
I don't need it to be somebody who's done it before.
Now you get a preference. Look, that's my preference. I'm telling you right now, that is my preference.
Jeff Mosher's saying, though, the reason that it went bad was because they went with a guy who'd never done it before. I say BS to that. They went with a guy who for 17 years was around coaching and had never been promoted.
Right, nobody even thought of it.
There's a reason he was never promoted, because he wasn't good enough. These other guys, they're up for jobs. They're getting promoted in year 5, year 6, year 7, because they're good enough. There's a reason that nobody was saying, Kevin Patullo, that's the guy. Let's go grab him. And if I was smart enough to see that last year, and by the way, and got shouted down by Eagles media members, some fans and otherwise, like, oh, that's bad. That's not fair. That's not right.
Players.
It was right. It was right.
So I've lost excitement, but I want to know if you have lost excitement. And the follow-up question is, does it matter? Like, does it truly matter? I heard Bill yesterday on Unfiltered saying that the Eagles deserve the benefit of the doubt, that we may not know who these candidates are, but they've had so much success since the turn of the century, let alone the last 5 years, but since the turn of the century, that maybe we should listen to what the Eagles ultimately do. But you also said it, you hit it where you go, they can't tell you that they got their guy. Because I believe
one can say
I
that.
believe in the reporting. The reporting that first came out was they wanted one of the top candidates. They wanted somebody that could have complete autonomy. This was being reported immediately. And then they didn't get those people. They didn't get those candidates. They either went elsewhere or got promoted within their own right, within their own job. And so the Eagles can't lie to me. I know what they wanted. I know what I wanted, and I don't think I or the Eagles are ultimately going to get what they originally wanted. But does that matter? I want to hear from you at 610-632-0975.
I'm sad, though, that I agree with your logic that there's nobody that's going to make you go, yeah. But are you pessimistic? Because I'm not. The Eagles' track record tells me that their research, that their interview processes and things like that, they find diamonds in the rough constantly.
Sure.
They sift through the rubble of interview processes and find guys at the bottom of the barrel of the interview process that end up being home run hires. So I still have a lot of optimism.
I think the reason why I am pessimistic is just because I'm wondering why this is happening. Like,
I think you know.
Like,
I think you know.
Is it Sirianni? Is it Jalen Hurts? Like, does somebody on the outside look at the situation here in Philadelphia and go, I don't want to go there? Like, is this a stinky situation all of a sudden? We're going to speak with Adam Schefter today at 8:05, who last week, 1 week ago, told us that it is a landing spot, great destination, and yet
I wonder if he'll change his tune today.
A lot of people aren't coming here. All the top candidates that the Eagles wanted, the guys that the Eagles were going to aggressively try to get to hire are not coming here. So I think that's what makes me pessimistic. I'm not telling you that whoever they hire is going to be a disaster. I can't say that because I don't know. I even sort of gave a little bit of the benefit of the doubt for Patullo. Like, all right, let's see how it goes. And then we found out immediately the guy sucked.
I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the whole Patullo thing from the beginning, and it turned out to be right.
Right.
I mean, it was you can't be around. You can't be around for that long in the NFL and not get somebody doesn't poach you, someone doesn't promote you, someone doesn't. There's a reason. Yeah. There's a reason.
All right. So that'll be our question today to start. 610-632-0975. I've lost all excitement for the OC search because there's nobody that I'm like, yes. Doesn't mean that it's going to be a disaster. It's just there's not a guy that I can tell you, yeah, I really am intrigued by this person. If somebody called in right now and said, Andrew, John, who do you guys want to hire the OC? I don't know. I'm sorry. It's first time in the history where a radio host doesn't give an opinion. All the guys that I wanted are gone. So I don't know. Whoever the Eagles hire, we'll see how it plays out.
Well, anybody who tells you,
but does that matter?
Anybody who tells you that they know that the guy that they get's a home run hire is going to be, that's going to be a bunch of BS.
It's the guy that does Phillies draft content that goes, I love this. It's like, because you watch their high school games.
But there's a lot of, there's some reasons, though, to like some of the candidates that are out there for some of the things that they bring to the table.
Or what they're talked about. Like,
yes.
And league circles didn't talk up Kevin Patullo. Nobody did. Nobody. Sean Mannion's getting talked up already.
Nobody even knew who Kevin Patullo was. Even there might have been people in the building that didn't.
All right. Sixers played last night.
They did.
It was the Bucks. Bucks are not playing good basketball, and obviously Giannis isn't playing right now. But nice to see Paul George. 9 3-pointers made last night. Finishes with 32 points, 9 of 15 from 3. Trivia. He tied who? 3 other Sixers have hit 9 3-pointers in a game. We're going 6-16 trivia here on Kincade Salciunas.
I'm going to throw J.J. Redick out.
No.
Kyle Korver.
No.
Buddy Hield.
No.
No. Who's the guy that got poached? Daryl sent away.
Landry Shamet?
No. Got poached.
Isaiah Joe?
Isaiah Joe.
No.
Oh, I was going Isaiah Joe.
They never gave those guys shots.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I thought there was a mop-up game. I was thinking there was an Isaiah Joe mop-up game.
Shake Milton. I don't know.
No, Tyrese Maxey. So
okay.
A guy that's currently on the basketball
Probably should have been my first guess.
How about that Dana Barros, dude?
Wow.
Come on, man.
Wow.
Yeah, you got that Dana Barros.
Wow. That's incredible.
And then people don't remember this one. He's an undervalued player in Sixers history in such a weird time in basketball. Danny Green had a 9 3-point night.
Oh, hell yeah, Danny
Green was an okay player here, but he said things on podcasts that pissed me off. So it's kind of like the Darius Slay all over again. But Sixers good night last night. Paul George 9 threes. Joel Embiid another monstrous performance, 29 points, 9 rebounds, and an alley-oop jam from Tyrese Maxey. And this is now the third time in 2 weeks where we have seen him run, jump, land on his feet, and not wince.
Nope.
Not even a wince. I'm not saying like the soccer fall, oh, my God, I got shot, and they end up being fine. But we didn't even see Joel Embiid wince these 3 dunks.
Made Sports Center?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, that's good.
Dude, he's moving.
No, he's done.
moving.
It's what I said to you before. I'm giving him all the credit in the world because he has obviously done the work to get himself in the best position he can to succeed this year physically. And he looks great.
Yeah.
Looks great. So the plan has been working. That's a wonderful thing. And the applause is there. That's what I wish we had seen this dedication his whole career.
Totally understand. Yeah. But it was great, right? Like that alley-oop jam, Maxey tosses it up. Maxey is jumping around as if he is a fan in section 127, row 5. Like it was Maxey's reaction to Embiid's alley-oop was like a good childish. I'm not saying negative child. Like it was like as if Maxey was a fan, right?
Wow.
Watching Embiid dunk. And of course they have such a great relationship. So that was great. And how about it? Back-to-back nights. Jared McCain, another good game.
See, to me, that's what I thought you were going to almost lead with because I've been saying it the last couple of weeks going, what's the story with McCain?
Yeah.
How does McCain go from what we thought potentially we had to what? I love seeing that. And he's another one, though. The young players, whether you're talking about Maxey, whether you're talking about McCain, whether we're talking about Edgecombe, this is I don't think the Sixers have been an incredibly likable bunch of talents as far as their
You haven't been able to
their
fall
energy,
in love with anyone.
Their energy, their body language.
There's guys that are
everything
here
like
for
that.
half a season.
And that includes Embiid. You guys all love Embiid.
I know.
I think
look,
Embiid's body language has sucked a lot.
Mopey, I hate Mopey Embiid.
And to me, these youngsters have even made Embiid keep his attitude up, keep his energy up. Applaud the Sixers.
Yeah.
That's really good. I'm very proud
Jared
of it.
McCain, 17 points last night, 5 of 6 from 3. So good shooting night for the Sixers yesterday. Now, coming up next, I have a question about Joel Embiid. 2 days ago, Johnny, I asked you if you still get a reaction to good games by Joel Embiid, or if you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, right, which is the injury. I want to open that up a little bit more today, and whether or not people still root for the guy. What he said post-game yesterday was beautiful. Now, I'm a sucker. You know that. I'm an emotional fella.
You are.
But what Joel Embiid said after the game yesterday, what we read during the summer, it was beautiful. I want to play that for you, and I wonder where we're at when it comes to the human element of Joel Embiid. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A new name on the Eagles' radar. I'm Connor Thomas, and a new name's popped up in the Eagles' search for their new offensive coordinator. Yesterday, the Buffalo Bills picked Joe Brady for their vacant head coaching decision, sending Brian Dable to Tennessee to be their new offensive coordinator. The market continues to thin out even more, but the Eagles will be having a second interview with Packers quarterbacks coach Sean Mannion. The previous interview was over video call, but this one will be in person. So we'll keep you updated on the ongoing offensive coordinator search and if there's any more news on Sean Mannion. Sixers had a much-needed bounce-back win last night, taking down the short-handed Bucks 139-122. Joel Embiid, 29. Paul George, 32. And as you heard us just talking about 9 threes, Tony Jones of The Athletic joined us yesterday. He talks about the opportunity for the Sixers in the East.
There are two things that are working for the Sixers right now. Joel Embiid is relatively healthy. He's playing at a really, really high level. And the Eastern Conference is as wide open as I've remembered it in quite a while.
So there is opportunity there. They just got to take advantage of it. And they did so last night. Sixers are off tonight. Flyers are on the road in Columbus. A 7:30 p.m. puck drop against those Blue Jackets. You can hear it live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Don't miss Adam Schefter joining us at 8:05. NFL insider Jordan Schultz joins us at 9:30. A lot of national voices on the Eagles today. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Make sure you tune in Middays with Marks. You guessed it with me, John Marks. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. Let's get back to more of Kincade Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
This hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
All right, 6:30 on this Wednesday morning, Adam Schefter Wednesday. Don't forget, Shefty joins us at 8:05. Talk about the ongoing offensive coordinator search. You'll hear some audio from Joel Embiid and about Joel Embiid here momentarily. But, Johnny, I want to read some comments on our YouTube chat first. Before we get into the Sixers discussion, obviously a lot of immediate reaction to the latest in the Eagles offensive coordinator search. Brian Dable officially going to Tennessee. Joe Brady, the 2 hours of excitement that we had yesterday. Could this be a possibility? He gets promoted. He's now the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Sean Mannion, now the most recent name that's going to pick up steam, 33-year-old former quarterback in the NFL. He's been the quarterback's coach in Green Bay and gets a lot of credit for what Jordan Love has grown into in the NFL over the last 2 seasons. So that's like the hottest name on the streets right now for the Eagles offensive coordinator position. But he's a guy that has not called plays before. And as you heard in the clip from Jeff Mosher, the Eagles don't want somebody that they think they have to nurture or hold the hand of. That's not saying that Sean Mannion is that guy, but it goes back to what they originally wanted. They originally wanted somebody that has done it before, that they know can do it, because last year was such a disaster.
I disagree with the one way you worded that. You're saying they don't want a guy that they have to hold hands or nurture.
Well, that's what Jeff said. So.
Okay, well, here's where I'll disagree with Jeff then on his wording. They know that they do not have a head coach who is capable of hand-holding or nurturing.
Sure.
Because they have a head coach who is absolutely devoid of the talents that are required to lead an offense.
Yeah.
He's shown it multiple times. His first year, he took play calling away from himself after 7 games. Then the Brian Johnson debacle, then last year driving that car right off a cliff. He had no way to help the team.
So you mentioned Nick. A couple of comments on our YouTube chat. I always don't know if it's Clow Friends or K Lau Friends, so my apologies.
Okay.
I'm convinced the offensive coordinators are icing out Sirianni for his clownish antics over the years. No one likes him. Half the Eagles fan base doesn't even like him. Now, I don't know if there's some coup of the candidates that are saying, hey, let's not go there to make Nick look bad. But there might be somebody that says, I don't want to work for that man. Like, that could be a possibility.
You do believe that's the case, right?
I'm sure there's somebody that feels that way.
I absolutely think that's the case.
So
when Steve Weish sits down with us at the Super Bowl,
yeah,
the NFL Network's their lead reporter, their senior reporter, sits with us and says, yeah, flat out. And I set Steve up for it because I know we've talked about it off air. He knows, look, when he's willing to go on record and saying, look, guys around the NFL, they don't dig him.
Yeah, that wasn't a behind-the-scenes conversation. That was on the radio.
They don't like him. Yeah. He's not well-liked. So when that guy's looking for somebody to come and be his coworker, a very intimate coworker that you got to spend a ton of time with for around 8 months of the year, a lot of people may not be signing up for it.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a concerted effort where all these guys have a group text.
You're right.
Screw Nick Sirianni group text.
Concerted would be an absolutely bad word because there's no more coaching, athletes, sportscasting. There's nothing more like people that are out for themselves.
We have reached tinfoil cap theory time, by the way, and I'm always for it. I think it's fun.
What's that?
I love tinfoil cap time. Juice on our YouTube chat.
What's up, Juice?
I think Nick is sabotaging this. He knew that if we hired one of the big names, they could be the next head coach of the Eagles. A story came out that Nick was about to get fired and his OC was going to take over in 2024. I guarantee Nick is throwing flies in the soup with those big names.
He can't. He's not making the hire.
That's my
Juice. Here's the problem.
I love it. I love
Juice.
the theory.
I love Juice putting that theory out there. Problem is, Juice.
Yeah, Howie's making that call.
Howie's making this hire. They're not letting Nick do anything like that again. Here's what it is. Strangely, it's Juice that makes that assertion. Juice. He doesn't have any of that juice anymore.
Yeah, no, he's got nothing left.
He doesn't have any juice. Juice, you have juice. He has no juice.
I just love it. I appreciate tinfoil cap
like
time,
it,
which,
sure.
by the way, we've reached that point. We're wondering why the hell nobody wants to come here. All right. We can continue that conversation. I've lost all excitement. Whoever the OC will be that will be announced, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to be like, yeah. I'm just going to say,
no, and I think that's fair.
Okay. Now, our question is, have you also lost the excitement over the OC search? And does that matter? 610-632-0975. Our other topic, Joel Embiid related. Do you still root for Joel Embiid? Now, there's a reason why I say that, because that sounds very like,
Yeah, that sounds.
Of course I root for Joel Embiid. I don't know if that's true for a lot of people. I think there are a lot of people that have been done with Embiid for a long time, right? When the story came out this summer, it was very PR driven. I agree with you, John. The article, the very, very deep dive into the life of Joel Embiid.
You mean where he picked the writer?
Sure.
And picked the, yeah.
And it was on ESPN.
It was completely. Yeah.
Does not mean the story wasn't opening, right? In terms of his mental health, his feelings about the injuries, like the why me? Why does this keep happening?
Me. It was a what was me piece.
Sure. Now, some of it I understand. Like, again, we could talk about conditioning and getting body right. You're not preparing your orbital bone breaking twice, right? Like, that's not something that he can work on. Drink more milk and hope that your orbital bone stays stronger?
You're cherry picking, though, a little bit.
No,
No, that's what I'm saying.
Not the point that
you
I'm trying
led
to
with,
make.
But you led with that. So that's sort of cherry picking. When you're talking about Joel Embiid and conditioning, you led with a orbital bone, lead with the conditioning.
No, I just told you that I agree with that feeling that you have.
Yeah, because the conditioning has been a problem since
I agree. It's not. I'm not like trying to spin anything. I'm just telling you that the article, there was a lot of stuff to his personal life. And so yesterday, he plays another tremendous game. Before the game starts, Doc Rivers, our old buddy, the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, was in town, and he's always an interesting press conference to listen to.
I like Doc.
And he obviously...
I don't want him as a coach anymore.
Right. No, I was very fine with them parting ways with Doc Rivers, as have other organizations been very fine with parting ways with Doc Rivers. But this was Doc Rivers before the game yesterday talking about Joel Embiid.
You don't know basketball.
Oh, sorry, wrong button.
It's funny. It's like Groundhog's Day. It really is. I was telling a very, very, very Hall of Fame player that I coached that Joel's the most talented player that I ever coached. And he was like, what? And I was like, he is. It's the things that you guys see and then the things you actually don't see in practice sometimes that he can do. It's incredible. It really is. Unfortunately for me, I never had him healthy once in the playoffs. He wasn't healthy last year. He wasn't healthy the year before. That's 5 years straight, I think. And if he ever gets to the playoffs healthy, especially they've added some big pieces here, they're going to be a dangerous team, but it always going to come down to that. And nothing's changed.
The thing is with Embiid, even the guy that is like so out, like would trade him for air, for extra oxygen in the Philadelphia area, can't deny that he's talented. Now, he may not play the way that people want him to play. How many times have we heard that get down low, right? He's a big man. He shouldn't be at the top of the key, even though that's what his game is.
Okay.
You can't deny the talent, but the injury thing is what keeps on popping up.
But Doc's lying. Doc had a blatant lie there. He had him healthy in 2022.
What, the Celtics series?
No. The Toronto series.
Yeah, the Toronto series, yeah.
He had him in a blowout game where he didn't need to be playing.
That's true. You're right.
He had him healthy. That series was over.
He then lost him.
And Doc Rivers got him injured in a game when he got cheap-shotted late in a game that was already won.
That everybody watching was saying, why is he still on the court?
I turned to Bob Cooney. We were in Vegas.
I remember
for the draft,
you telling me this, yeah.
And I turned to Bob Cooney 2 minutes earlier and said, why is he still in the game? And Bob goes, hell if I know. You can just see Bob saying it.
Yeah.
Hell if I know. And he got injured 2 minutes later.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Doc Rivers had a healthy Joel Embiid.
It's just he
had
then
a series won.
Was no longer healthy.
And then blew it. So, Doc, you had a healthy Joel Embiid, and you blew it. And I love Doc. I enjoyed every interaction I ever had, personal interaction I ever had with Doc Rivers.
No, me too.
I enjoyed very, very much.
But Doc Rivers blew a series?
But, Doc, come on now.
Wow.
Stop me when you heard that before.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the one who got him injured. You got him injured, and you didn't need to.
Which team are
That's
we talking
a bad
about?
Thing.
Now, I want to play this because this was Joel Embiid after the game yesterday. Yesterday was a nationally televised game. It was on NBC. And I get it. It didn't have the same luster, the same lore because Giannis didn't play. So it was the Sixers led by Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey versus the guys that aren't named Giannis in Milwaukee. But the Sixers get the win, and this was Joel Embiid after the game with NBC.
What's it feel like to have that pop again, to fly again, so to speak?
Man, it feels so good. Every single time I, just step on the floor, like I've become emotional because the last few years I've been extremely tough. I've been through, my family. So I'm just happy. Finally being consistent, being on the floor. I don't take it for granted. It's been a good feeling.
I'm very genuinely happy for him.
I love that.
And I love that he is what I love is that he's done the work, and I love that he's being so supportive of the younger players.
That's a big one too. You're right.
To me, he's completely engaged, Joel Embiid. He's fully locked and loaded on the success of his younger teammates. And that says something. That says something to me because there's a lot of veterans that aren't, and he is. So good. And you can tell he can even pull one of his biggest detractors.
Sure.
Into the tent by that type of behavior.
Which is why I want to know. Do you still root for the guy? Now, I'm not really asking the people that have never stopped. Right,
exactly.
I'm not asking myself that question.
Yeah,
you know me.
Because you got the poster in your bedroom.
He's emotional every time he steps on the court. I'm emotional every time he steps on the court. All right? I love Joel Embiid, but I wonder for the people that have been detractors over the years, even more so now, and I understand why. Like, I never blamed anyone. Are you starting to sort of go, wow, you know what? I'm rooting for this guy. 610-632-0975. That's our Sixers topic. Coming up next, we'll check our text line for the first time. I know John mentioned earlier, but he has an early message for the Eagles PR team. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
The Fanatic.
6:47 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5. The Fanatic on this Adam Schefter Wednesday. Shefty joins us coming up at 8:05. All right, before we get to our text line, our Eagles and Sixers discussion. Eagles, I have lost all excitement for the OC search. Have you, and does it even matter? 610-632-0975, because I'll be the first to say it doesn't matter. You know, whoever they hire, I'll just go, all right, let's see how it goes.
Okay, well then to me that's absolutely fair. I have no problem with any Eagles fan that takes that tact. I'll see how it goes. Any Eagles fan who doesn't give the Eagles the benefit of the doubt on their hiring processes, I will absolutely take issue with, because you are being reactionary.
Right.
You are not doing your research, because they've done great. When they have been sifted down to their fourth, fifth choices, they have been better than any organization in football at hiring, because most organizations don't get to their fourth, fifth choices and get Super Bowl coaches.
Right. I think the concern is this time around, why is it your fourth, fifth choice?
I think if you can't, are you getting more clarity that it's the coach?
It seems like it. Yeah, sure.
Connor?
Yeah, I don't think this is too complicated. I don't think it's all Sirianni, though.
No, it's not all. No, it's never all.
It's a collective.
Right.
But
it's just like the offense.
The number
last year.
one thing. The number one thing is that if you're a young offensive coordinator, you're a young bright mind. You're coming here. If you went to work for Ben Johnson, if you went to work for Matt LaFleur, if you went to work for Sean McVay, you know that if you started calling plays or something like that, and you started to flail a little bit, your boss can come into the room and go, okay, let me help you out. Let me show you what I did.
Yeah,
right.
You can't learn all that much here from a guy who's proven he can't call plays, but also you have a quarterback that has to play a certain style. You have a general manager who's basically running the entire operation, which doesn't happen everywhere. It's just a very unique situation that works for the Eagles that some folks are scared off by.
And one other thing, you have a offensive line coach who is your run game coordinator, so you do not, this total autonomy is a lie.
Right.
You are not letting an offensive coordinator come in here and do their thing in the running game. You're making them adapt to what Jeff Stoutland wants to do. And look, Jeff Stoutland's a great, great coach at what he does. But you're not letting someone have total autonomy. You're saying, we're going to do this way, but you adapt. And you and Jeff just go into a room. Now, he's going to run the running game, but you're still the offensive coordinator. That's BS.
Now, I think anyone scared of that is crazy. Because if I'm Jeff Stoutland, I'm looking at you and saying, a year ago, I just had a running back put together the greatest single season in NFL history.
Yeah, like
he doesn't want. They don't want to run an offense. They don't want to run an offense that is the 2024 offense. They do, because they don't have that offensive line anymore.
Right. But he put that together. Like, to think that Jeff Stoutland is a one-trick pony, I think, is short-sighted considering how he's been looked at in the league for a long time. I don't think people are not thinking that way. I think they're crazy if they are.
All right.
Wow.
What's your message to Eagles PR, again, in case somebody missed it like 5 minutes into the show?
Just don't, please. Just don't. When it comes out, when we get our next candidate, just don't do we got the guy we wanted all along nonsense. Whether it's Mr. Laurie, whether it's Howie or whatever, just don't do it. Just instead focus on the fact is we did a very thorough search. We did all our homework. When we hire people, we have left no stone unturned.
Sure.
We talked to the brightest minds in the business and some young minds. And just don't lie and tell us that you didn't miss out on the top candidates that you first preferred. Because many, many times, like with Andy, Doug, and Nick, your top choices passed over you, and you ended up with hires that got you to the big game, and in two of those opportunities got you parades.
Yep.
So just be honest with the people. That we are confident in our interview process. We are confident in how we evaluate our candidates. And so we think we have found a guy that maybe we didn't know much about.
Sure.
Be honest. If they end up hiring Sean Mannion or somebody like him, we weren't talking about Sean Mannion at the beginning of this process. But after getting into the process, we're very impressed. And circumstances led us together. And we think it's going to be a really good relationship if that's the case.
By the way, we're getting closer to the anniversary of winning the Super Bowl, and that was because and then the Eagles couldn't hire a new OC
because they wouldn't do this
because they ran out of time.
Can we just separate the winning the Super Bowl from Kevin Patullo? I don't want to have that couching.
No, because I think
time.
I think there's a reason why we're not celebrating a potential second one. And
I do too.
I think that's number one.
How about this? We all agreed the other day. I think there's an absolute reason that the Eagles weren't playing divisional playoff weekend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally.
So we all agree on that. That's as far as I'll blame Kevin Patullo. Like, as far as I guarantee that they would have been playing with a competent offensive coordinator. They absolutely would have been playing that weekend.
Yeah.
And in my mind, they probably would have been playing in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, because they could have been the 1 seed.
Yep.
And they could have been at home in the divisional round. All right, what do we got on the text line this morning, Connor? We're also talking Joel Embiid. Do you still root for the guy? And I'm not asking the guy that has always rooted for the guy. I'm talking about the person that has been out on Joel Embiid for a long time, or even if it was just as early as last year and everything that went down, ready to move on, ready for change. And then you see the season that he's having. You see him dunk 3 times in 2 weeks now. And I'm not talking about like under the rim jumped and dunked. I mean in transition. You're going, wow, excuse me? This guy can move and not be in pain afterward. What do we got?
John in Tennessee checks in, says Howie deserves the benefit of the doubt. His big mistake was trusting Sirianni and making the OC pick before. I trust that Howie won't do that ever again in Sirianni's final 2 years here, he puts in parentheses.
Well, yeah, and that's what, by the way, I did. That is something else I do. I do believe that Sirianni's contract does. We don't know for a fact, but I do believe it runs through next season. So next season and the year after.
You remember it was a short deal, and we were wondering why it was such a short deal.
I think it runs through 27 and the 26 and 27 seasons. So that means he's on a 1-year deal. They would have no problem eating a 1-year contract.
Right. All right, what else we got?
All right, we also have a check-in here on the Joel Embiid conversation.
Okay.
And this texter, D from Mount Laurel, says, as a Sixers fan for life, I can honestly say I'm not rooting for Joel, but I'm happy for him. It's still one of those just wait for it scenarios.
All right, so why not root for him? Like, I would just ask why. I understand, like, not wanting to get your hopes up.
He's wearing our laundry. You got to root for him.
Yeah, like.
Our spring, look. If Joel Embiid's not healthy, this team is not winning anything.
Right, so I get I get not wanting to get your hopes up, but to not root for the guy.
I think that's what D's saying.
All right, if you could
he's
just
like, I'm
follow up.
happy for him, but
I just want to
because you got to. This team does not get out of the first round without Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
and if they're in the play-in tournament, they may not even win that.
Yeah.
So without Joel Embiid,
man, just stay
mental
healthy.
sanity
Stay healthy,
requires
buddy.
Joel to be healthy.
Stay healthy, pal. Please.
Yes.
I love you. All right, coming up next, we'll continue our topics from this morning. But today is also a big enough day where we can talk sports outside of Philadelphia. What happened yesterday in the world of football is criminal. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Birds still searching. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles continue their offensive coordinator search. A new name popped up yesterday as the Buffalo Bills picked Joe Brady for their vacant head coaching decision. Brian Daboll seems to be heading towards the Titans being the offensive coordinator down there, so the market's thinning out a little bit. But the Eagles will be having a second interview with Packers quarterbacks coach Sean Mannion. Mannion, also a former NFL quarterback for a long career. We'll keep you updated on the ongoing OC search. Sixers had a much-needed bounce-back win last night, taking down the short-handed Bucks 139-122. Joel Embiid 29, Paul George 32 points, 9 threes in the game. Tony Jones of The Athletic joined us yesterday, and he talked about, well, the opportunity the Sixers have, but also the struggles they've gone through this year.
Problem is the Sixers haven't played well in a position where they're the team that should win the game. So you got to take advantage of the home games when they're there, and the Sixers largely have not done that this year.
Well, last night they were able to do that. We'll see if they can string a couple together. They're off tonight. Flyers are on the road in Columbus at 7:30 p.m. Puck drop. You can hear that live right here on The Fanatic. Adam Schefter joins us at 8:05. NFL insider Jordan Schultz joins us at 9:30. This update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone with AutoZone. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It is 7 a.m. on this Wednesday morning. Adam Schefter joins us coming up at 8:05. By the way, I know the promo's been running. At some point this week, I'll figure out a way to do it.
What's that?
We got the Flyers Charities Carnival.
Yes, comes up on
You will be doing
Sunday.
the show with Ricky Bo, is that correct?
11 to 2. We shifted it to 11 to 2 since the doors open at 10:30. We were going to do 10 to 1, so we decided to shift it to 11 to 2. So we'll be doing that on Sunday. We'll look forward to seeing everybody out there, and we understand that there will be some donkeys.
Yes, Connor and I will be representing 97.5 The Fanatic.
Getting dunked.
And Silvana, right?
And Silvana as well,
Kelleher.
yes.
Sorry. So Silvana as well. The three of us will be representing the
What are you wearing?
radio partners
Have you
of
done
the
this
Fanatic.
before?
No, I've never done this before.
Okay, what are you wearing to get dunked?
Scuba suit.
I was planning bathing suit, like Hawaiian shirt, bathing suit action,
I think
pretending like it's warm outside when it's not.
Okay, I think you can get away with just bathing suit. You'd wear a bathing suit.
Yeah.
You both should get away with just a bathing suit.
Okay.
Just wear a bathing suit, but just all I implore you to both, because I want you to work next week, Super Bowl week, is to please bring a couple towels
Oh, yeah, and dry off.
and
not,
something really warm
Oh, yeah.
to put on. Connor, you do stupid stuff like wear shorts, and my wife will find out about it, and then she will then say, give me the phone, because she will want to call Connor.
I'll be fine.
Connor, seriously, after a dunk tank, be really serious, because you're going to be above the ice, even though they'll have the platform
it's gonna
down.
be
I'm going to go
free.
skate around afterwards.
It's going to be cold.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
please be careful.
So, yeah, if you want to try to dunk Connor and I and
a lot of fun.
Silvana, we'll be there. We're going to give away 4 packs of tickets later on in the week, but you can also buy tickets. Just check it out. Flyers Charities. Just Google that and you'll find it.
I think Ricky, though, would most want to dunk Silvana. Of the three of you, so you're probably lucky.
I wouldn't be too
I
sure
completely
about
I
that.
think
completely disagree with that.
No. He gets on. Silvana calls him old or decrepit or something every day.
That's actually
I think that Ricky would love to just unload a nice fast pitch that dunks Silvana into the water. And they're going to try to make the water warm.
Yeah.
But
Good luck. While we're at it, let's give away a 4-pack now. Whoever wants it, let's go first texter at 610-632-0975. The Texan Dunk Tank to 610-632-0975. We have 5 of these to give away, so we'll give away one now, a 4-pack. This Sunday, February 1st at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Stop by the East Food Hall and say hello to Ricky Bo and John Kincade as they will broadcast live from 11 to 2. And then, of course, they'll be interviewing some of your favorite Flyers. Me,
And
Connor,
front
and
office
Silvana.
folks.
And front office folks. Connor and I and Silvana will be in the dunk tank. If you don't win, you can buy tickets at FlyersCharities.com. All right, so we're talking about the Eagles offensive coordinator search. No surprise, right? Have you lost all excitement when it comes to the search, considering the exciting names are pretty much all off the table, unless you do your own research like John did about Sean Mannion and found ways to get intrigued? But ultimately, for me, I really wanted an adult. I wanted somebody that has done it successfully, a guy that does not have to turn to Nick Sirianni and say, please, Nick, help me, when Nick literally cannot help you. That's not what I want. I don't want a never done it before guy. Even though there is a lot of intrigue for some of these young names, I worry about, well, what if it doesn't work? I already saw it not work last year. It was a disaster. But does any of that matter?
No.
Because the Eagles' track record.
No, it doesn't. Well, no, why it doesn't matter is you cannot compare what we saw last year. Take last year out of your mind. Like, I know it's really, really hard. It's hard to take that out to be able to say, I'm not going to think about last year. But comparing, like if we just said to Sean Mannion, if we talk about Sean Mannion and we talk about him and we compare him to Kevin Patullo, that is completely unfair to Sean Mannion.
Sure, I agree.
Because Sean Mannion is tutoring under bright minds. Sean Mannion is a guy who is now working on his coaching career and is doing things to try to advance that. Kevin Patullo is a guy who has been around. He's been around football. He never climbed the ladder. He never became the name that people were like, yeah, let's talk about him. Sean Mannion has been talked about. Sean Mannion has been poked around. Sean Mannion is a guy that people are interested in. So just I don't want people, it's completely unfair to compare Mannion to Patullo just because Mannion has not called plays.
Fair.
And also, too, Kevin Patullo tutored under
Nick Sirianni.
Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
So that's all you need to know. Different.
I could be a tutor.
As much
I
as
won't help you much, but I could be a tutor.
Look, as much as I say waxed eyebrows Matt LaFleur, and I knew Matt when he was with the Atlanta Falcons. So I knew Matt when he was coming up. I knew Matt when he was Matt Ryan's quarterback coach. So I've watched him come up. Matt LaFleur he's got bones in coaching. He's got reputation in coaching before he ever became an offensive coordinator, before he ever became a head coach. Kevin Patullo had none of that.
Right.
And Mannion is on the same path. And by the way, this is a guy that Matt LaFleur thinks a lot of.
Damn right.
So there you go.
All right. And also, Embiid, are you still rooting for him? Because I know that there are people that have been done, and I don't blame anyone. I've been very consistent, even though I'm not, you know me, Titanic, going down with the ship. All right? Oh, captain, my captain, or whatever. Like that's me. I will go down with the ship of Joel Embiid. You always say last person, turn the lights off. I'll be that guy. I will be the person to turn off the lights whenever that day comes. But I don't blame anybody that has been out. It's been horrible. It's been painful. Like, this has not been necessarily all that fun, but this year has been. And when you hear Joel Embiid, let's play it again. This was Joel Embiid after the game yesterday on NBC. Listen to what he said about being able to play.
What's it feel like to have that pop again, to fly again, so to speak?
Man, it feels so good. Every single time I, just step on the floor, like I've become emotional because the last few years I've been extremely tough. I've been through, my family. So I'm just happy. Finally being consistent, being on the floor. I don't take it for granted. It's been a good feeling.
Like, I'm a sucker. I love that. I love it. Now, look, part of it, I haven't been able to get on the court, is your own fault. The Olympics, I thought, was stupid. You had a knee injury, you play in the Olympics, and then you got
selfish.
Hurt. Like I thought that was stupid.
It was completely stupid and completely selfish.
And I'm somebody that loves Joel Embiid so much, I'm man enough to admit that. And I would look him in the eyes and say that, I love you, man.
But
that
look
was
what
dumb.
you did.
You did that to yourself. But to hear him talk about how happy he is to be on the court, in case you're wondering why, I don't know the reporter's name. She asked, how does it feel to be able to fly like that? There was an alley-oop.
How do you feel?
Well,
how's it feel?
The alley-oop dunk yesterday, something that we don't see with Joel Embiid. By the way, here's how it sounded right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ryan Rollins with it. Milwaukee on the move. Rollins keeps the dribble, lobs it down to Portis. Portis left-hand shot. Again, Paul George with the D. Sixers on the move. Maxey lob to Joel. And Embiid jams it. Alley-oop jam. The big man soars. And Maxey feeds him. And an alley-oop dunk for the Sixers.
When's the last time Tom McGinnis could say, and I quote, the big man soars when it comes to Joel Embiid? Seriously.
I don't think I've ever heard it. Not like, I can't remember when he last said it.
I mean, he's done it a couple times this year, but I mean like 20, what? 21?
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
When did he do the windmill dunk against the Timberwolves on that breakaway? Was that 21 or 20 or something? I don't even know.
Long time ago.
It's been a minute.
I mean, we just told you the other day that he hadn't played 40 minutes in a regular season game since 2023. Like,
that's incredible.
It's been a long freaking time, man.
And again, that's where even the people who have been highly critical of Embiid, and I'm raising my hand for the YouTube crowd because I am absolutely been highly critical, and I can absolutely feel confident that I was justified. That I've been very highly vocal to applaud him. I think I've been very impressed with what I've seen this year. Good for him. Good for him.
Andrew Ellis says you would absolutely.
Well, good for us, actually.
Andrew Ellis said, I would absolutely not say that to his face.
Why?
That it was dumb for him to play in the
I wouldn't
Olympics.
either.
No.
Maybe not the way I said it.
No, how about this? Joel, in retrospect, was it a dumb decision to play in the Olympics? I would absolutely ask that question, and I would use those exact words.
Now, we would also have to stand on a chair.
No, you would not have to. No, do it while we're
seated. And he's going to bite down on that gold medal, give you a wink, and say, no, I'm good.
And go good. So, and then my follow-up would be, okay, so you're good? What about the Sixers fan base that suffered because of it? That'd be the follow-up question.
Yeah.
And just go, well, what about the Sixers fan base? I get that it was good for you, but it was horrible for the local fan base.
Right.
And the Olympic team. How much did they pay you?
Yes, these are all valid points.
No, but I mean, like, you can do it, and you can do it respectfully.
Yes. No,
Yeah,
I
but
wouldn't
he's-
say you're an idiot.
Yeah,
he's
you're
going
not
to
saying it's
defend
an
his
idiot.
decision like he
Of
has.
course he is. Of course he's going to defend it, but it was a selfish decision that cost the city, cost the fan base, and cost his teammates.
Yeah, you got VJ Edgecombe because of it.
All right, what do we
How much
got?
did it cost you?
What do we got on the text line? And then we have to talk about the criminal nature that is the NFL.
All right, so we have a text here from Sinclair who said, I wanted Joel traded years ago. Still do. But as long as he wears a Sixers uni, I'll always root for him and pray he finally stays healthy during the playoffs.
And Sinclair,
I got no problem with that.
I've been going back and forth with Sinclair on social media for years about the Sixers. That is like he's not making that up. Like he has been a trade Embiid guy for
I
a
have
long
no
time.
problem with that rationale, even today, as a guy who's been applauding Embiid. If they could trade Embiid today, I'd be fine with it. I would be fine with it. Because the odds that he's staying healthy are very poor.
I know.
Are very
I know.
poor.
I
So
know.
if you had somebody today that was willing to take the contract off your hands, you do it tomorrow. You do it immediately.
I wouldn't. Going down the
Oh
ship,
my
baby.
gosh!
I'm going
Now, why
down
do you
the
want?
ship.
Why do you want the next 3 years to go down the tubes?
Who will be my violinists?
I'll play.
Who will be my string? What is it? String quartet? Is that what it was?
I'm not good
on the
strings.
Titanic?
See, this is what
How about keys?
This is what bothers me about fans. This is the number one thing that bothers me about fans
What?
is when fans are so dying to be right that about a stance that they took that they're willing to be wildly wrong when you know something would be better. It would be better if somebody was willing to take that monstrous contract off their hands.
It's not about being right or wrong, John. It's about you think
It's
okay,
what you want.
you move on from his contract, which opens up possibilities down the road. What the way I look at it is the best chance of them winning is him being on the basketball team.
The best chance of him, the chances of him being healthy
I know that's
enough
I
to
get
lead
it.
them are all slightly above slim to none.
Well, it's like going to a restaurant and you have your favorite meal and you've been thinking about it. Andrew's a big look at the menu
Hell
beforehand
yeah.
guy. And you're like, I want this. I know I want this. And you show up and they're like, we're out of it. What are you going to do? Go back home hungry? You got to eat somewhere. That's kind of where we're at.
But Connor, if the Sixers were a menu and with the Joel Embiid as the big entree, people would stop coming to that restaurant because they would know that it's not available.
It would be a constantly changing menu, though.
They would know, but they'd have to go and order
Yeah, there's
other
new stuff all the
They have
time.
to order other things because the Embiid entree is just not there.
One of those pop-up bars. You never know what it's going to be.
All right,
We would call that the hot truck down
Don't
at
worry,
Temple.
we'll continue our local conversations as this is Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio throughout the course of the show. You can continue to text in at 610-632-0975. But there are sometimes stories that happen nationally that can bleed into local radio. And what happened yesterday in the NFL is absolutely criminal. In case you don't know what we're talking about, Bill Belichick did not receive enough votes to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame his first year on the ballot. And that is absolutely freaking stupid. I understand in this city we don't like Bill Belichick. I understand that he beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and so people will always have a personal vendetta against Bill Belichick. And I understand that Spygate involved the Philadelphia Eagles. So we feel even more angry about Bill Belichick. Immediately yesterday on social media, guy Ryan chimed in. Andrew, Bill cheated twice. They didn't let T.O. in because they didn't like him, let alone cheating twice. Steroid players should go in then, too. I agree, actually. Steroid players in baseball, like Barry Bonds, should be in the Hall of Fame. The T.O. thing is exactly why Bill Belichick is not in the Hall of Fame. There are people that vote that have personal feelings get in the way about what they actually believe when it comes to whether or not a person should be in the Hall of Fame.
Why writers? Like, why in the world are we letting writers have such clout that they get to be the moral compass for everybody, that they get to determine the fact that just close the Hall of Fame if Bill Belichick's not a part of it? It's an absolute joke. And the fallout from this is going to be huge because if Bill Belichick's not in, Tom Brady can't be in. First ballot.
Yeah.
He cannot. Because Tom Brady was directly the perpetrator of Deflategate. So he can't be in. It's preposterous that Bill Belichick is not going into the Hall of Fame. And to give writers this kind of power, it's a joke. It's outdated. Nobody cares. The guy with the typewriter in the front row. It's not 1955 anymore. We don't need the writers to have this much clout.
Go ahead. This is a great thing. This is a really great thing for Hall of Fames for the major North American sports, because we needed them to screw up this bad to make this change.
Yeah, but it's not going to change.
You want to bet?
Yes.
Oh, I think it's changing.
It's not going to change.
I agree with Connor.
I'll take that bet a billion times out of
it's
it.
changing.
They
That's
just
gonna
told Bill
change
Belichick he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's got to change.
It's
It's
gotta
broken.
change.
Let me ask you something. Wasn't T.O. a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah, yes, but the T.O. thing's different. And T.O.,
totally different.
T.O. was a guy whose personality rubbed guys the wrong way, and so there were some people who felt that. But T.O. was what, like a top 5 receiver, top 10 receiver
He's not
of
top
all
5
time?
he's not top 5 all
But that's
time.
the thing. You can make
He's
the
first ballot
argument.
Hall of Famer, though.
But he's not Bill Belichick.
Bill
got you.
Belichick is like the lock of all locks.
The story of the NFL can be told without T.O.
Okay.
The story of the NFL cannot be told
Sure.
without Bill Belichick.
The reason why I bring up T.O., so Gary Myers was the guy that was most public about it. Now, by the way, as much as I disagree with Gary Myers, credit to him for at least being public about it.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of people. The Ichiro, one guy that did not vote for Ichiro, he was not a unanimous Hall of Fame inductee. We still don't know who that is. And that guy will be a coward, or gal, will be a coward for their entire life and will keep that to their vest. Gary Myers, who does stuff, I think New York Post has written
He's
books.
written a bunch of books about the Giants.
Covering the
and everything.
NFL for a long time. Gary Myers did not like T.O. Was very vocal about it. I didn't like T.O. I didn't like the way he was in the locker room. I didn't like the way he was off the field. That's why I didn't vote for him. And then after he got inducted, remember T.O. had his own induction ceremony?
Yep.
He didn't do it at Canton. He then went on the record and said, if I knew he wasn't going to do it at Canton, I wouldn't have voted for him. Like, that is a personal...
He has a personal agenda. It's all what he's about.
And so for whatever reason, there are people that have personal reasons why they did not vote for Bill Belichick to be in the Hall of Fame. Now, I get it. Spygate, Deflategate, that's what's being pointed out. But then you have, like, Bill Polian, apparently, according to Seth Wickersham of ESPN, was telling people not to vote for him because of these reasons. And then he does the,
I don't remember what I did.
That wasn't me. I think I voted for Bill. I understand Bill Polian is in his 80s, so maybe he does actually not remember who he voted for.
Wait,
But
wait.
that
Let me
is
give you the side-eyed dog emoji.
That is ridiculous.
There's more importantly.
How do you not remember?
He remembers.
Bill Belichick.
He remembers whether he also remembers whether he was campaigning behind the scenes to smear the guy and to keep him from getting in. He absolutely knows.
And clearly it worked. This isn't a crazy old man talking because 10 voters did not vote for Bill Belichick.
Here's where I applaud the voters. And it's great because the American public spoke out. And Booger McFarland earlier on ESPN Overnights was saying, rarely do you ever see Twitter unified on anything. And Twitter is 100% behind Bill Belichick on this. It's been, you see just the occasional person trying to get attention going, I think he deserves to sit out. But Twitter was so unified. But what's great about this is that the people who did vote that are like, this is bull crap that had a vote, making their votes public now.
Yeah.
So now.
The ones that are quiet.
So now they have managed to square it down. 30% of the votes have been made public now. So now they are narrowing it down to these people are making their votes public and they're saying, look, here's my ballot, here's my ballot, here's my ballot. And you can see they've all voted for Belichick. They're narrowing the field down to be able to out the people who didn't vote for Belichick. So you'll be able to figure it out because it's going to be like, okay, out of these 30 voters, there was a bunch of them that didn't vote. Now, out of these 26.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out who didn't because they were too cowardly to come out and say, I didn't vote for him, and here's why. Personal agenda.
Yeah. And it's
I love it.
It's ridiculous. So we've talked about this before. And I'm gonna say it again because I think we talked about this literally when the Ichiro thing went down. And I understand Ichiro is my favorite player, so people think there's a bias. But it was ridiculous that he wasn't a unanimous Hall of Famer. It's ridiculous that many players weren't unanimous Hall of Famers. And here's why. There is one simple way for all leagues to vote for Hall of Fame. Do you believe so-and-so is a Hall of Famer, yes or no? And just check off the box, yes or no. Not, well, I think he is.
There should never be an argument about a Hall of Famer.
Right, just yes or no.
There should never be any, let's have a debate show about whether this player, Carlos Beltran's going in the Hall of Fame. I can't believe it.
You feel like that's actually a debatable.
I can't believe Carlos
Right.
Beltran. I never watched Carlos Beltran going, man, Schmidt, Nolan Ryan, Ichiro, that Carlos Beltran.
Right.
It doesn't belong. I've never thought of him as a Hall of Famer.
Now, when somebody listening goes, well, Andrew, that is what they do. They do vote yes or no. This is what I mean by it. There are voters that will say, well, I believe he's a Hall of Famer, but I don't believe he's deserving of first ballot.
Which is ridiculous.
And so if you think the person is a Hall of Famer, just say yes. We don't need to do this sanctity of the Hall of Fame that's already just been diminished by some people that have made it into the Hall of Fames in respective leagues. Don't do this crap of, I do think Ichiro's a Hall of Famer, but I don't think he should be unanimous. So I'm going to be the person that doesn't do it because I don't believe if he's unanimous, then how come this person wasn't unanimous or this person was unanimous? I don't care about the voting process 50 years ago.
Not at all.
You can't change it, right? So moving forward, it's do you believe they're a Hall of Famer, yes or no? Don't give me this crap of, I think he's a Hall of Famer, but I think Bill Belichick should be punished for Spygate, so I'm going to not vote this year, but I will vote next year.
Like you with the Ichiro thing. You're upset about Ichiro. But Henry Aaron's not a
No,
unanimous?
I get it.
I mean,
but you can't change that now.
No, I get you.
And it's stupid. It's stupid that Henry Aaron wasn't a unanimous
But I
Hall
don't
of
think
Famer.
anybody. Yeah, but I think anybody who's that, I'm saying is don't worry about Ichiro if Henry Aaron is.
No, I got it. What I'm trying to say is yes or no. Is this person a Hall of Famer? Don't give me, he's a Hall of Famer, but.
There shouldn't be any debate about
no, he's a Hall
of
of Famer, yes or no. And Bill Belichick not being a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer because of personal issues is freaking stupid. And it's a stain on Hall of Fames.
Terrible.
It is, because then there's other people. Look, we talk about this all the time. I think Kurt Schilling's nuts. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Kurt Schilling is nuts.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Not because of how he votes.
Right. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
But the writers let that crap come into their play.
All right, coming up next. What are other things about sports off the field related, like not the X's and O's, that gets this kind of a reaction from us? We'll give some other answers. We would love to hear from you on that as well, 610-632-0975. And, of course, our Eagles and Sixers discussions as well. It is Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, it is the last call for football on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. It's the only final call for me these days because I'm not really making it up that late at bars anymore. This is Super Bowl 60. And FanDuel is making sure that you're in on it. So if you're a new customer, bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Whether you're backing the favorite, which is Seattle by 4.5 points right now, or if you're riding with the underdog, that is New England. Or, of course, you can build that one last same-game parlay. By the way, shout out to Brendan Gunn. Hit a big one in the NFC Championship game the other day. Just make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season's over. Football will be officially done for the year. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as knowledgeable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles eyeing Sean Mannion. I'm Connor Thomas, and a new name popped up in the Eagles search for their new offensive coordinator yesterday. The Buffalo Bills picked Joe Brady for their vacant head coaching spot, and that means Brian Dable will be heading down to Tennessee to be the offensive coordinator of the Titans. So the market thinning out a little bit, but the Eagles will be having a second interview with Packers quarterbacks coach Sean Mannion. The first one was a virtual Zoom interview. This one is in person, so we'll keep you updated on the ongoing OC search and if the Mannion news continues to grow. The Sixers had a much-needed bounce-back win last night, taking down the short-handed Bucks 139-122. Joel Embiid, 29 points. Paul George, 32. 9 threes for him. Tony Jones of The Athletic joined us yesterday. He talked about the opportunity the Sixers have with the Eastern Conference.
There are two things that are working for the Sixers right now. Joel Embiid is relatively healthy. He's playing at a really, really high level, and the Eastern Conference is as wide open as I've remembered it in quite a while.
Sixers are off tonight. The Flyers are on the road in Columbus, taking on the Blue Jackets. back at the 7:30 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that live right here on the Fanatic. Adam Schefter joins us at 8:05. Jordan Schultz joins us at 9:30. A lot of NFL insight on the show today. This update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone with AutoZone. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
More of Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
7 a.m. hour is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right. Eagles topic. I've lost all excitement for this OC search. Have you? Does it even matter? Right? Because maybe we give the Eagles the benefit of the doubt. Sixers topic. Do you still find yourself rooting for Joel Embiid and getting reactions of, wow, what a fun game? Like last night, 29 points, 9 rebounds, and we saw him complete an alley-oop dunk. I don't know the last time we saw that. We saw him run, jump, land, and not wince. Like, I love that. I'm very happy about that. But I understand that a lot of people have been checked out for a while. So do you still find yourself rooting for the guy? I know one of our first texts said, no, I'm happy for him, but I'm not rooting for him. I saw a couple people in our YouTube chat saying that, whatever, I'm not going to root for the guy.
Okay, as long as someone's, again, if someone's wearing your team laundry, you're not rooting for them? I don't care. Like, how do you not root for somebody wearing the Sixers uniform unless they are just a despicable human
jackal,
being?
Yeah, which...
And by the way, there have been people that have worn uniforms of teams that I've been like, I don't want to root for this person.
Right.
Joel Embiid is not that person.
No. I think he's a lovable guy. Look, the mope stuff is horrible.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I hate it. I've always hated it. Even at the peak of Joel Embiid, I thought Mopey Embiid was like the worst.
Yeah, I did.
Because we all know that. We all know that person. That's always Eeyore.
That's not a reason to hate somebody.
I hate when he is that,
exactly. Right, exactly. No, I'm saying for the people who hate him. That's not a reason to hate somebody. That's a reason to hate that behavior.
Right.
You're like, come on, dude. You're a grown man. Grow up.
Yeah,
grow up. Stop with the mopey crap.
Like
and how much are you making this year? Oh, $35 million? You better put a freaking smile on your face coming to work.
Yeah, I can
For
mope.
God's sakes.
I can mope.
Do you realize the people that pay your salary? Do you realize how tough their lives are before you do the woe is me crap? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like self-awareness is a really nice thing to have.
Yeah.
Have it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get some of it.
I still remember when JT Realmuto said, it was just a paycheck.
Yeah, it was just a paycheck, and it was what? Like it was for that game.
For those 2 games in Toronto was more than what people make in a year.
Wasn't it like $48,000 or something?
That. Yeah, more than what people make in a year. It's just a paycheck.
Well, he's not aware. He's not aware.
Come on, could you imagine saying? And by the way, he said that during a time where like the economy was down, it was post-COVID. There's people that lost businesses, and he's dropping it. It was just a paycheck. Like that's stupid.
Self-awareness again. Just
important, man.
It's really important.
So those are our local topics. And, of course, Bill Belichick not being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Reacting to that, I, of course, see on our YouTube chat people celebrating it because he cheated. And obviously.
What did they say he cheated with?
Spygate.
Well, Spygate, I absolutely believe. Now, the details on Spygate are very slim. So, I was saying
because they burned the tapes.
Look, I absolutely believe he cheated. So I'm not. To the people in the YouTube chat, I am not saying you're wrong or anything like that. But we who believe he did, and I believe he did, we do not have facts to back us up. We don't. We don't have facts that we can point to and say, this is what he did. Because the facts were, whatever facts there were conveniently hidden from our sight. So I got a little bit of a hard time with that one, even though I believe, like they do, that he completely involved. As far as Deflategate, he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but either way, give Deflategate, give Spygate. Say it's all on Belichick. The guy won how many Super Bowls? He was a great coach for how long?
6,
like,
right?
He is the greatest coach in the history of the game of football. And the fact that he's not in, he wasn't that coach because he had a video camera on other guys' sidelines. Maybe that's why they won in 05.
Right.
But that's not why he was who he was.
Look, I understand why somebody here feels that way because it was our team.
I do, yes.
I totally understand why somebody feels that way, but when you take emotion out of it, it goes back to the simple question that I asked.
People have a hard time
taking emotion. Is this person a Hall of Famer, yes or no? Not first ballot, not, well, in 5 years, maybe, or I'll let the other committees.
I'll let the veteran, like in baseball, I'll let the veterans decide.
Like, no. Is the person a Hall of Famer, yes or no? Doesn't matter what year they get inducted, yes or no. It should just be that simple. It shouldn't be this deep of, I'm not going to vote for him this year, but I will vote for him next year. I guarantee you Bill Belichick gets all the votes next year except maybe like one.
Look, we know a lot of great writers. That we deal with. But the electronic media is more critical to fans today than the print media. And it's just fact. That is the fact being is that most of the print media has to go to some sort of electronic media to distribute their information and their product and everything like that. We're glad that they do.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
we love having them as a part of it. But print media is the outdated format. And so everything is electronic. The old days of the beat writer being the only guy that where you get your information is not the way it is in 2026. Now, we have some great ones here. I think we're blessed with some of the best in the whole country. But it's not that day and age anymore.
All right. Anything else in sports not the actual game related that drives you nuts? Like this, like Hall of Fame voting, where you get that reaction. Even like Belichick aside, like this.
You mean like as far
as
make it a little more specific?
Like you don't like that vote, like that writers.
No,
are the
I think
ones
writers
that vote.
I think writers are. Well, I think baseball writers specifically.
Kevin Cooney's going to come after you.
No, I know, and Kevin and I have debated this a lot. Baseball writers are the most self-important people that I've ever come across in my years in the media. As far as you don't sit in that front row. You're not allowed to sit in that front row. That front row, you got to be a member of the Pro Baseball Writers Association of America. You better, even though the person who is in the electronic media may have their stuff may be consumed by 5-6 times as many people.
Right.
It's the outdated welcome to the ballpark, everybody. It's 1960, and we're here watching the Phillies. It's an outdated system, and there's an arrogance about it. But we thankfully are blessed with a lot of great ones. I've come across a lot of bad ones in my career.
Absolutely.
A lot of bad ones in my career.
Here, I'll give you an example. We've talked about this before. I hate that interleague play has lost its luster.
What about it?
It used to be a set time in the year.
Oh, yeah, it was in
baseball.
June.
And now it's the Phillies are opening the season against.
Okay.
Like, did they play the A's in like the second series last year?
It was one of those years where they played the A's really early.
Like they played Texas.
Yes.
To start years recently.
They played Texas. They started the 22 season. I think
they started and they got swept.
I don't understand why that bothers you.
I don't like it.
No, because it used to be
special,
right? And I understand now that it's a universal DH, that changes things too. But there used to be a time, a kinder, gentler time, Corporalese.
What is this, Corporalese?
Where
bakery?
like it was June. You're like, I gotta buy tickets for the Phillies Red Sox.
Right, but so you're telling me if the Phillies played the A's in June instead of April, it would be more exciting to you?
Well,
good teams are good teams.
It used to be.
It was special because you didn't play every team in the American League.
Right.
Yeah, I like this so much better. I want to see them play every team. I want to see all those players.
But like, it's just like.
See, I don't.
Like, you're opening a year with the Rangers.
What does that matter? They play
that's
162
well,
games.
I wait all season long to see Phillies Mets or Phillies Braves, and
you know what happens? The Phillies go to Citi Field and they get their teeth kicked in, and we're sad. Just let them play who they're going to play. We're going to see every team.
I hate that interleague play is all year.
Yeah,
now.
and I think too, it is much more of a Connor. I think it's much more of a generational thing. I think that very much that's
I'm much older than Connor.
That's but it's you are an old soul when it comes to a lot of things in your life. You very much have that old soul mentality.
My number one thing in this conversation is the protection of officials. And it's every sport.
Yeah.
Interesting. Go on about that.
It's over the top,
It's
too.
BS. Well, who made them a deity? What, you wear stripes on your shirt and all of a sudden you're God?
Yeah.
For the love of Christ. Like, guys can make mistakes left and right. And they get no fines. They get no suspensions. They get no blowback from the leagues because their union is so strong and protects them. Yes, absolutely.
Wait a minute.
A player gestures in the wrong direction one time,
Well, wait a minute.
and they get fined tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But an official can blow a call that costs a game
You
for
don't
a
get
team.
fined for making a mistake.
Yes, you absolutely do.
No, but you know what?
No, a mistake is not a player gesturing. A player doesn't get a fine for making a mistake.
You slip. let's say the turf is a little bit wet and you slip, and all of a sudden the crown of your helmet is what leads with contact, and you're out $20,000, but an official can make an egregiously bad call. And you know what the league says? Well, you can't say a bad word
They're
about
never
it.
going to fine a ref, but there seems to be no implications to struggling, right? Like Angel Hernandez, if he wanted to,
Well, you put some stank on that one.
he would still be umpiring, right? If it wasn't like the forced retirement because he was so bad. But
He
like
was terrible.
But there are officials. I mean, look, the guy Scott Foster, like in the NBA, like
Terrible.
people literally call him the
extender,
the extender for series for a reason. Like there is a belief that he leans certain ways in series depending on how many games have been played and what the series total is. And bad calls don't go punished. I'm not saying fines. Like a guy that may have a horrible season could still end up being officiating a playoff series.
Yeah, fine.
That's bad.
We won't do fines. How about jail time?
Yeah,
Excommunication.
fine. I got
No,
you.
I'm all for. How about? Like in my mind, the NFL should have officials that are full time, and I think officials should be. I don't think there should be an NFL official who is over the age of 50.
eyes, man.
How are you going to keep up with the game? Is that there should be full-time officials. They should take ex-college athletes, train them, pay them, bring them up through a system like a college system, and then you train them to be officials. Because how do you get these old guys? They can't keep up with the game.
Yeah, can't see.
Bottom line.
All right, coming up next, we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas. And also, why would anyone in the world want this on their vacation? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
If you've decided that you were going to pop the question, I've got the answer for you. It's Benari Jewelers. Yeah, you want her to say yes, right? Well, I want you to say yes to Benari Jewelers' annual bridal bash. Now, it's going to go on through February the 7th. February starts on Sunday, so time is running out, believe it or not. The bridal bash specials are not just for her, they're for you. You get special savings. How about 12 months financing on engagement rings and wedding bands, and something exciting, your chance to win $1,000 with a purchase, which is great. But Benari is the area's diamond expert, so you're going to get a great diamond at a great price, and all the top designers are available for you, so all the names that she knows from her Instagram and her Pinterest dream board are there. Every size, every setting she's looking for are there too. Does she want yellow gold, white gold, platinum? They got it. And during Benari's Bridal Bash, they're going to make sure that you're saving the most money, and they're even going to give you 1 year to finance it based on approval. Benari's Bridal Bash is going on through February the 7th, and their amazing team is going to help you design your own ring. Look, our own Brendan Gunn picked out the diamond, then designed the ring. They put it together for him. He got the yes. It's amazing. He knew nothing about the process till he went into Benari. Exton and Newtown Square, they're absolutely awesome, but it only goes through February the 7th. Benari's Bridal Bash. If you're getting engaged and you're going to pop the question, Benari is always the answer. Check out BenariJewelers.com.
The Fanatic's Andrew DiCecco. the Fanatic app.
All right, we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming up here momentarily. Give us a text message, Connor, so that we can get something sports related, because I have a vacation destination for people that live in a world that I will never understand, but everybody has their wants and interests. And I am talking about my own wife here.
What? She wants to go here?
What do we got on the text line, Connor, when
Harry
it comes
Potter
to our
world?
Eagles or Sixers discussion, or if there's any reaction to Bill Belichick not making the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, Sean checks in, says, I may not be positive for the Sixers still, but seeing Joel move the way he is and is good. It's a good thing to see. He seems happy now and is gaining more confidence in himself and his body as each game passes. That's a great sign of potentially even better things to come.
Like, why wouldn't there? You're not. I'm going to tell you, if somebody's not rooting for Joel, you're not that big a Sixers fan then. You're a casual Sixers fan. Because you obviously, this Sixers team has no chance to do anything without him.
Right, yeah.
So you're not that big a Sixers fan if you're like, well, out of spite, I'm not going to root for Joel Embiid.
Well, unless you've seen the past however many years and you think they have no chance to do something with him. There are a lot of people that are stuck on that side of that argument, and nothing he does will change that.
So again, you're going to root against your team then?
Some folks, yes.
Well, then you're not that big a fan. No fan of a team roots against their team.
Unless they say it's best for them to lose and realize
that's not going to help them because
so
you got them for the next how many years. And so that doesn't help your team.
I hear you.
There's no rationale for it.
It was just a beautiful moment after the game yesterday. Him
you getting
saying
suckered into all
how
that.
happy he is to play. Oh, I love it, buddy.
You love all
It is
that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you're all into that.
All right. Real quick before we get to headlines. I just saw something pop up on Twitter. This has apparently been going on for 10 years. There's a town in Scotland called Wigtown where you can rent on Airbnb a bookstore where you stay upstairs of the bookstore. They have a little cot, but you are the owner of the bookstore for your stay. So you work.
Pass.
I'm out.
What?
My wife, I showed it to her, would do it in a heartbeat. Problem is, it's fully booked for the next 2 years.
Wait a minute.
Oh, darn.
And you don't make the money. The money that is sold for the bookstore goes to the Wigtown Book Festival. So it's like a volunteer thing, but you are paying money to rent this house that is in high demand, clearly, 2 years running. You run the bookstore. You make the sales. You put the books away that people don't want. You're working. But it's like you're living your own little dream life. And I'll tell you, my wife, whenever I get my $1 million contract from the Fanatic, I'm waiting for it. It's coming, John.
I heard it's in the mail.
She wants to be a bookstore owner one day. So she could literally live out her dream.
Okay, so she would like to do something like that in like a retirement dream.
Yes. She could live out her dream on vacation.
Well, we do this. It's called Phillies Fantasy Camp.
Yes.
So this thing exists for different folks as well. So I understand it. I'm just not a bookstore
but
guy.
you're playing a game. You're not working. This is work. Imagine somebody comes in and asks you questions about Moby Dick, and you're like, I don't know.
Some people like books.
They in the description, if you go to Airbnb, read up on the books that we sell so that you can actually talk to the patrons.
Okay, that I've never even heard of that.
But there are worlds that I don't exist in.
How do they know you're not going to go in there for the week and skim the money?
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, now I'm fascinated.
Scout's honor, I guess.
I'm fascinated. My wife reads probably 4 to 5 books a week. She would maybe like that.
She may want that.
And I could go stay at the Kincade Castle in Scotland.
You could.
So I wouldn't mind that.
There are people that watch The Masked Singer every week. That's a world that I don't know or I don't believe exists, but it does. It's on.
It is on.
So there are people that want this.
There are
Clearly.
a lot of people out there.
There are people. This thing is booked for 2 years.
They want to go on vacation and work.
That's crazy.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Not at all.
No, it doesn't make sense.
All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
And it's brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. We're going to start out with something interesting from Mike Florio, because we all saw the AFC Championship game out in Denver in an absolute blizzard. And some folks are upset that that's how it was decided who was going to end up going to the Super Bowl. And Florio brought up something recently where he said, in the past, there has been a push for some in the NFL league office. A few years ago, someone got the idea, and someone was pushing the idea to have neutral site conference championship games. Now, it never went anywhere, obviously, but the idea that the conversation's been had. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I don't like it. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened one day.
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened one day because the NFL owners are whores.
Let's say next year. Let's say next year another game happens where rain or something was a fact, because you can make the case that the score being 10-7 was related to the weather and not just because Jarrett Stidham was the quarterback for the Denver Broncos.
How about two terrible quarterbacks in that game?
Yeah, I agree. They
were
didn't,
horrible.
They didn't play well in the first half before the weather, by the way. That's the thing that I will push back on most. People point to the weather being a factor in that game. It wasn't the first half. It wasn't. And they both sucked offensively in the first half.
Yeah, and I think this would be more of a money thing for the NFL, but as an Eagles fan who's seen NFC Championship games, the greatest moment of my life, sports-wise, is the NFC Championship game back in 2017, 2018. Like, I want it to be in Philadelphia.
And why would you it would change your whole approach to caring about if you're the one
Seeding.
seed or not.
Yeah, home
absolutely.
field advantage, all that kind of stuff.
Like, it would take away
It'd be a major change.
it would be stupid. Honestly.
I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen one day. I don't want it. It's like the Dome in Philadelphia. I'm not going to be surprised when it happens.
Yeah, but it's something that we
it's
don't
gonna
want it, though.
happen. It's
Yeah.
going to happen just because of one man wanting it.
Yep. What else
Not
you got?
because the city wants it.
Funny enough, we have more Olympics talk about that basketball team that Joel Embiid was on. Now, Tyrese Halliburton
This is a great story.
was on the podcast Mind the Game Pod with LeBron and Steve Nash. And he was talking about the moment he realized he probably wouldn't be playing all that much for Team USA.
We're in the back doing film before the Olympics start. And before it starts, it's like, all right, we're going to have the team meeting where we acknowledge that all 12 guys cannot play. Steve starts talking about everybody can't play. And Bron is talking about how, you know, in the 04 Olympics, I didn't really play that much. And you got to put your pride aside that, you know, it's about bigger than you. And Katie's over there, like, at the end of the day, with 12 All-Stars, everybody's good. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening. I'm like, yeah. And as we start film, I'm like, but who are they talking about? Like, who are they talking? And I'm looking around. I'm like, oh, he ain't talking about him. He ain't talking about him. I'm like, oh, they talking about me.
It's a great story because it's something that I think everyone can relate to. You're at baseball tryouts, basketball tryouts, whatever, and you're looking around, you're going, oh, damn, that guy's really good. This is the Olympics. Tyrese Halliburton flies out to the Olympics. By the way, look, he's living the dream, right? They're getting everything handed to him. But he wants to play, and he's looking around the room. He goes, oh, crap. I'm the guy that they're talking about that isn't going to play. Tatum, right? Tatum barely played.
Tatum barely played.
too.
Right, exactly.
And I forget who else it was, but that's got to be a deflating. He said, there was more to the clip. He said, I couldn't pay attention to the rest of that film study
because you're like,
I realized
I'm the guy.
I'm here. I made this trip, and I'm not going to play.
Yeah, now he's just stuck in France with nothing to do.
Well, yeah.
Well, he got to be part of a gold medal.
Yeah.
I know.
JoJo played.
That was tongue-in-cheek.
JoJo
Yes,
played.
It was a big part of why they won it.
A little bit,
All right,
yeah.
coming up next, Adam Schefter. What's the latest with the Eagles OC search? Last week, he was very positive about the offensive coordinator position. Has that changed? It is Kincade and Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
More coaching movement in the NFL. I'm Connor Thomas, and some news yesterday as the Buffalo Bills picked Joe Brady for their vacant head coaching decision. That means Brian Dable will be heading down to Tennessee to be the offensive coordinator of the Titans. Market thinning out. So what are the Eagles doing? Well, a new name has popped up in their search for offensive coordinator. They have a second interview scheduled with Packers quarterbacks coach Sean Mannion. Mannion, a former NFL quarterback for a lengthy career as a backup. We'll keep you updated on the ongoing OC search, but Mannion, the new hot name. Sixers had a much-needed bounce-back win last night, taking down the short-handed Bucks 139-122. Embiid 29, George 32. Great game out of the two vets. Tony Jones of The Athletic joined us yesterday, and he talked about things that the Sixers haven't quite taken advantage of this year.
Problem is the Sixers haven't played well in a position where they're the team that should win the game. So you got to take advantage of the home games when they're there, and the Sixers largely have not done that this year.
But hey, last night they got the job done. Nice to see a win. They're off tonight. Flyers are on the road in Columbus. 7:30 p.m. puck drop against the Blue Jackets. You can hear that live here on The Fanatic. Coming up next, Adam Schefter of ESPN will join us for his thoughts on the latest from the Eagles offensive coordinator search. This update is brought to you by Barbera's on the Boulevard. New year, new car. Cherokees and more Cherokees. $199 down, $199 a month. Is Barbera the best? Boy, I guess. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 TheFanatic.com.
Kincade Salciunas is back from the break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
All right, Adam Schefter will be joining us coming up in 5 minutes. That's what we're going to get into, Ray Dunn. And last week when we had Shefty on, a lot of back and forth about the Eagles' offensive coordinator position, and he did say, I'll paraphrase a little bit, that he likes to look at this job as a glass half full job because of the success that some have had as the OC with the Eagles, the successful organization that the Philadelphia Eagles are, the great ownership in Jeffrey Lurie. And that was my lead when we first started talking about the job. All those points were mine. But as time has gone on, you have heard whispers as to maybe why some candidates have not wanted to come here. I think you're really getting on to something here with the Sirianni thing. Like, if you're a first-time coordinator and you might need a little bit of help,
right? You
can't turn to the head coach, your boss, to help you.
And then you are going to take the blame and fail.
Imagine if I was having issues here at work and I went to our boss, Scott Masteller, and said, hey, so I have a question about this. And he goes, I don't know.
You can't do it.
Like, think about that. Your job, right? Man, I'm really struggling with this. And you go to your boss, I don't know. But that's what Nick Sirianni doesn't know.
Look, Nick Sirianni can't help.
Nick Sirianni
and it's not showing disrespect. It is showing factual evidence of 2021 when he took over, 2023, 2025. Thankfully, we're heading into an even year season.
Right.
When usually they bring in an adult that understands offense. Nick does other things well as a head coach.
Absolutely.
But he is absolutely unable to help out an offensive coordinator when things go poorly.
Think about this for a second. Christian Parker, who just got the DC job in Dallas, right? If he was just on his free time trying to learn more about defenses, picks up the phone. Hey, Vic, what are you seeing here?
Meatballs.
Like, what do you think? Do you think Kevin Patullo, not that I'm giving him any, defense here, do you think Kevin Patullo could pick up the phone and say, hey, Nick, what do you think about this? Like,
he could, but he may not get the best answer.
He's not going to get the best answer. And that's a concern when it comes to this position. So Shefty joins us coming up at 8:05. We're wondering whether or not you've lost all excitement for the OC search. Are you still finding yourself rooting for Joel Embiid? And the Bill Belichick not getting into the Hall of Fame, your reaction to it. There are people in Philadelphia celebrating it, John.
By the way, there is an algorithm, too, that studies social media content. First 3 hours last night, Bill Belichick had a 99.37% approval rating.
Oh, the way people were reacting. Wow, so that's kind of spot on.
It was only contrarians who were out there being like, yeah, screw Belichick.
I put out a tweet.
It was the overwhelming, and by the way, no story tracked hit in 2025, 2024, or 2023 to that level in the first 3 hours.
And oh, by the way, I bet you there was no story written as to why Bill Belichick wouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Think about that for a second. Every time there's debates about Hall of Famers, there's articles written as to why or why not.
Yes.
Was there a Bill Belichick?
No.
Here's why he's not going to get into the Hall of Fame piece?
No.
Nope.
I don't believe one of that ever was posted.
There isn't.
I put out a tweet last night. I couldn't imagine feeling so much self-importance that I wouldn't vote for Bill Belichick to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. What a wild day in the NFL where 99% of NFL fans can all come together and say this is ridiculous. And you just told me it was.
That's beautiful.
Well, you were short by 0.37, I believe.
Exactly. Yeah. Unreal.
Just
right.
0.63, I believe.
Oh, okay.
What do we got on the text line, Connor, as we await our man Adam Schefter?
So we have people checking in on this Belichick conversation. Joe from Malvern wants to go the spite route. He says when Belichick does get in, he should decline the invite and demand he not go in. Jealous reporters who have an agenda and refuse to look at the body of work objectively, which is basically their job, is insane.
It's kind of what T.O. did.
Yeah, but he can't because he's one of the biggest historians of football, too.
I know. Look, he was a part of the top 100 stuff. Like, think about that for a second. The league asked Bill Belichick to be involved with their programming of the top 100 players, top 100 games, top 100 teams, all that kind of stuff. The league asked him to do that. And yet the people that cover said league.
Because they don't like it.
Yeah, because he said next question in a press conference.
Or he said upper body injury. It's so petty. And again, we give these people too much power.
It's unbelievable.
Way too much power.
We will ask Shefty about it because I'm sure he's got plenty to say on the matter as well.
He's got a lot to say.
From ESPN, our man Adam Schefter joins us as he does every single Wednesday at this time. Shefty, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
So there's plenty to get into. We will talk about Bill Belichick in the snub at some point, but let's start Philadelphia. Let's start with the vacant offensive coordinator position. More names off the list as of yesterday. Last week, Shefty, when we had you on, you said, I look at this Eagles job glass half full because of the success this organization has had. And I agree with you. That's what my first takeaway is when it comes to this job. But as time continues, I'll ask you the question again. Has this been a job of intrigue for a lot of the top candidates that clearly didn't come here?
Oh, well, what do you mean, a job of intrigue? It's a job that basically people have been interested in, looked the other way on, decided on other opportunities, a little bit of everything. And I think that their search has taken them to a lot of different candidates, and it's continuing on. In a perfect world, it would have been solved. They would have hired somebody by right now. But I think that the sense I'm getting from talking to people around the league is that they believe that there are a lot of qualified, intriguing, interesting candidates. And let's see where it winds up. And the other thing that I would say also that I've come to see, and you experienced it with your own head coaching search, when I think they were the last to hire a coach the year they hired Nick Sirianni. I know you want to jump out and get the first guy and get your top candidate. A lot of times coaching searches, whether it's for a head coach or an offense coordinator or a defense coordinator or whatever, sometimes the hires you make at the end with sort of leftover candidates, if you will, turn out to be equally as good, if not better, than the earlier candidates. So you just don't know how it's going to go. It seems like, obviously, you would have liked to have landed a couple of candidates. That's fair. That didn't happen. But it doesn't mean they're going to come up with a poor candidate in the end.
We brought that up often, that whether it was the hiring of Doug Peterson, whether it was the hiring of Andy Reid back in 1999, or the hiring of Nick Sirianni, they didn't get their top 3 candidates in any of those hiring processes, and they ended up with a winner. But I ask you this. If Brian Daboll, once he didn't get the Buffalo Bills job, did the Eagles want Brian Daboll to take their job?
Brian Daboll made it very clear that he was always taking the Titans OC job. Him and Robert Saleh are close. He loved Cam Ward. There were a lot of factors.
Tell me the factors as you believe them, other than just liking the guy. Was Cam Ward a better option for him to work with than Jalen Hurts potentially? Was Robert Saleh a better option?
I don't. John, you're looking to compare them. And I don't know that it's like, okay, well, I like this guy better. Well, I just think it's more along the lines of he loved Cam Ward in the draft. They tried to trade up to get him, and they couldn't get him. So he loved Cam Ward. He was close with Robert Saleh. I don't know what his relationship with Nick Sirianni is. I don't know that he's close to Jalen Hurts. So those are the people that he wanted to go work with. Man, that's what he did in the end.
So, Shefty, I'm going to base what I've heard from Howie Roseman publicly, that they wanted a proven commodity, right? Then I will then listen to the reporters such as yourself that have been saying from the beginning that the Eagles wanted one of those top candidates. Like, that was being reported from people that cover the league. So now that those guys are off the table, it leads us to ask why. Why did they not come here? So based off of your reporting, who you've spoken to across the league, is there a number one or a couple of reasons as to why some of the candidates chose not to come to Philadelphia?
I think every candidate is different. Every single one. Give me a name, and I'll answer it the way I'm not going to generalize and just say, oh, okay, they didn't want to come to Philadelphia. Give me a guy, and we could discuss why he didn't come.
Sure. I know last week we talked about McDaniel, and there's the L.A. tie with his family, and that could be part of the reason why. And you just mentioned that the Daboll finds intrigue in Buffalo. But then there's guys like a Declan Doyle, who got a lot of buzz all of a sudden, and then he goes back to Chicago.
I spoke to Declan Doyle on Friday night.
Okay.
For about a half hour. Declan Doyle's 3 hours away from his family in Iowa. His wife likes being there. He loves working with Ben Johnson. Wasn't looking to move of any sort. They called. Okay, I'll listen. It was great to listen, but I'm very happy in this situation. Baltimore's also called. I'll listen, but I'm very happy in this situation. So, again, like I said, like we said, every situation is different.
But you mean to tell me he's never going to take another job? Like, I imagine that Declan Doyle at some point is going to take a job that's more than 3 hours away from his family.
Right, but he just spent the first year with Ben Johnson and enjoys working there so much with Ben and Caleb Williams that to leave there, it would take a great opportunity, like something that you can't say no to. And as appealing as Philadelphia might have been, appealing enough to get him to talk about the job, it wasn't appealing enough to get him to move from the job.
Is there any chance that Todd Monken could potentially end up in this mix? Because he hasn't. I'm surprised that he hasn't ended up with the Giants yet. Right? He's still out there, correct?
Yeah, Todd Monken basically is waiting to hear whether he's going to get the Cleveland Browns head coaching job. And that's why he has not wound up with the Giants. If he doesn't get the Browns head coaching job, I would fully expect that he'll be the Giants offensive coordinator due to his prior relationship with John Harbaugh. Again, nothing against Philly. He's close with John.
That's a good hire.
And so well, if they hire him, he may get he's one of 3 guys in the mix for the Browns head coaching job.
Do you believe that the idea that what are the Eagles going to say if they do hire? Do you believe a young guy who's never called plays before? Because it was very clear that they were making that case for the veteran guy. How do you pivot on the talking points? You've been around these teams a long time from your days when you were a beat reporter. How does a team change their messaging like that?
I don't view it like that, John. I view it like you're looking for the best candidate. And in an ideal world, it probably would be a veteran, experienced play caller. But
I'm not against it, by the way. I don't want the old retread. Yeah. I'm hoping for a first timer. I want one of the first timers myself.
Well, again, I don't know whether it's going to be a first timer, and I don't know whether it's going to be a veteran. I don't know if they know. It's going to be somebody that they believe that they're comfortable in hiring. And the point that I've wondered about is, Nick Sirianni cut his teeth as an offensive mind, calling plays, being involved in that. Why can't he do it? I mean, to me, that's always the fallback position.
Well, he told us at a press conference here that he wasn't good at it and took the play calling away from himself the first year of his tenure here.
Well, I think the bigger thing is that I think some of his strengths are when he's able to oversee and be involved in a lot of different areas rather than just that one. And that one takes so much time and thought and energy that if you're involved in that, then he can't be as involved in other areas that help the franchise. So, again, they're going to look for this offensive coordinator. They're going to keep looking. They've been talking to a lot of people. The way it's been explained to me is they've spoken to some, like I said, really cool candidates that they feel good about. I don't know where they're going to wind up. We'll see.
Shefty, I am curious. We've talked about this. I've actually gotten upset about it this week, believe it or not. Last year, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they promoted Kevin Patullo with a very, very, very quick search for the next OC because of timeliness, right? Well, it's this late into the season. All the other candidates weren't available. We're less than 2 weeks away from the anniversary of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, and they still don't have an offensive coordinator. So when it goes back to last year, did they actually do an extensive search when it came to that position?
Well, they won the Super Bowl and they felt good about everything. And so you're looking to ride the fumes of that and the coattails and just kind of channel that energy into this season. So I think that when you win, everybody wants more, deserves more. And I just think they went along those lines, and it didn't work out the way that they would have liked. So now you do the exhaustive search that maybe you didn't have the time or the need to do last year. And that's what they're doing now. I don't know how extensive it was or wasn't last year, but there's an awful lot of goodwill and good feelings and positive vibes that you're riding coming up a Super Bowl win, and you want to reward your people. Like in any company, if you reach the pinnacle of that profession, there are people that deserve more. And that's all that was last year, in my mind.
It's pretty clear that Twitter, Damian Woody pointed it out beautifully last night on SportsCenter, that Twitter unifies over nothing. But last night it was almost unanimous that Bill Belichick got a screw job like no other by not being elected first ballot into the Hall of Fame. You know the job, you know the people who do that. What were your thoughts on that and how that went down?
It's embarrassing. And to me, for people to allow personal feelings to enter into a voting process that denies entry to arguably the greatest coach in history as a first ballot, as a form of punishment for the way that he dealt with the media or some of the controversies he was involved in. The 11-plus voters who voted no or didn't vote for Bill Belichick clearly allowed personal feelings and grudges to creep into the vote. And voters love to point out that they've been voters and have that responsibility and use that for access to get interviews and to other people. Well, if you're going to use the benefits of the position, then at least let's know who is in the position that's voting no. But who voted no? Is it some great secret? Like you felt the need to vote no? You should be man enough to admit it.
And this
I'd love to see the voters who voted no say, I voted no, and here's why. Like, I want to hear why. I want to hear who and why.
And this is obviously going to have to have.
And by the way,
go on.
And when we know who it is, well, that's a different discussion. But I'd like the people who felt like they could impact Pro Football Hall of Fame history to identify themselves as the individuals that felt like it was the right thing to do to deny entry to a coach who's won 8 Super Bowls. Like, who are you and why did you do that?
And what will this mean potentially to Tom Brady, who is tied directly to Deflategate? That if this was obviously you don't think that was you think it was just a personality thing? Because I would think the 2 scandals is what people are going to point to, and Tom Brady.
No, I do think the scandals obviously entered into it. That was definitely a part of it. My point is, I think it's 2 things. I think it's the scandals, and I think it's people's personal feelings. I think those 2 things. I don't know which is more responsible, but to your point, Tom Brady, I think, has been a more likable figure over time.
Oh, he
didn't have, and he didn't have these regular press conferences where you're kind of sparring with the media, so to speak. So I don't think it'll have a single ounce of bearing on Tom Brady's Hall of Fame candidacy. If he, by the way, if he doesn't get in on the first ballot, they should shut down the Hall of Fame. Just shut it down. There's no need to have one.
Yeah.
At that point.
Shefty, I don't disagree with you, man. It was embarrassing. It's a feeling of self-importance. Whoever said, I don't think Bill Belichick.
That's the word. That's the word. Self-importance.
You can quote me, NFL Live, Andrew Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
You can do that.
Yeah, you just do that, Shefty. That's all.
Self-importance. That is exactly what I was trying to think. Because I was a voter for 4 years, and I laughed. You know, when I went to went to work for NFL Network, I was not allowed to vote anymore because I worked for the league.
Sure.
And I've never been asked to vote again. I've never been asked to vote on an all-pro team. I've never had any of this. And let me say this about the people who do vote. It's ridiculous because what they're doing is, you know, they're soliciting the opinions of former players. They're doing research. So they're getting the opinions from all these other people whose opinions they value, and they're introducing them in the room. Well, why are we not having some of those people in the room? That's why they went out and got the people like Bill Polian and Tony Dungy. But frankly, they need more voices like that, even if some of those voices were responsible for the farce that this is. This is a farce. And, you know, if you want to ask about Brady, like I said, he doesn't get in, they should just shut it down. Just completely.
We agree.
Completely agree with you, Shefty. We appreciate the time, man.
Thanks,
and we'll talk to you next week. Maybe reacting to an OC hired in Philadelphia. Maybe the smoke will come out of NovaCare. We'll find out soon.
And maybe it'll be even more than that by next week.
Yeah. Will A.J. Brown be traded?
More than that.
We'll
we didn't ask you this week.
More than that. What are you hinting at?
Maybe it'll be even more than the discussion than an offensive coordinator. We'll see.
All right.
See what happens here the next week.
I'm liking this.
Antennas are up, Shefty.
All right,
Antennas are up. Thanks, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
There he is, Adam Schefter. All right.
All right, there's the biggest thing.
Finally.
Connor, we can't run there. He just left us with the biggest thing. There's something else. What is it?
I don't know.
Let's
try to figure this out.
There's something else brewing. What is it?
Let's try to figure that out. During the break?
Okay, that's the headline, and he left it with us like an Easter egg.
And then we'll talk about it next. Interesting.
Wow.
Let's react to what Shefty just kind of left us a little cliffhanger there. Next, Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right. I got to tell you, if this is the Valentine's Day proposal year for you, don't be like Adam Schefter. Don't leave her hanging. Make sure she got a great ring. I mean, the best ring possible from Benari Jewelers. But I want you to save money, and so does Benari. That's why Benari in Exton and Newtown Square is having their annual bridal bash, and it's only going to go on, though, through February the 7th. So you got to get on your horse and take care of fantastic savings right now. 12 months financing on engagement rings and wedding bands. So the buying process is going to be a lot easier. Plus, you can register for a chance to win $1,000. But I've been telling you, Benari is the area's diamond experts, and here's the reason why. All the top designers that she knows are there. So anything that she wants, does she want white gold, yellow gold, platinum, she's got it. Plus, during the bridal bash, they're going to make sure you're saving more because giving you that 1 year to finance based on approval, you'll be able to spread out those payments and be able to get her the perfect ring at the perfect time. All the engagement rings and wedding band styles that she wants, everything from their friendly, helpful staff. It's the Bridal Bash, but it's only through February the 7th. Look, I told you before, if you're going to pop the question, there's only one answer. It's Benari Jewelers. Exton, Newtown Square, BenariJewelers.com on the web.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Could Mannion be their man? I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles have a new name popping up in their offense coordinator search. Sean Mannion is getting a second interview. His first was a video call with the team. This one will be in person. He's currently the Packers quarterbacks coach. We'll see if he's the answer for the Birds as the market continues to thin. Yesterday, the Buffalo Bills picked Joe Brady for their vacant head coaching spot. Brian Daboll going to Tennessee for their offensive coordinator position. So we'll keep you updated as the coaching carousel moves on here in the NFL. The Sixers had a much-needed bounce-back win last night. They beat the Bucks 139-122. The Bucks were short-handed, but the Sixers seeing 29 points from Joel Embiid and Paul George putting up 32 have to be excited. Tony Jones talked about the open opportunity the Sixers have in the East.
There are two things that are working for the Sixers right now. Joel Embiid is relatively healthy. He's playing at a really, really high level, and the Eastern Conference is as wide open as I've remembered it in quite a while.
Sixers are off tonight. The Flyers are on the road in Columbus, a 7:30 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. You just heard Adam Schefter join the guys. You can hear that fully podcasted on our website. And Jordan Schultz will join us coming up at 9:30. This update is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, Saturday, February 7th. It's Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship at Xfinity Mobile Arena with Knucklemania 6 featuring a heavyweight title fight, plus Conor McGregor and many more. Tickets at bkfc.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Salciunas before I changed my mind.
All right, it's 8:32 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We will get back to our text line momentarily. One of our questions today, Sixers related, is: are you still rooting for Joel Embiid? Right, like you see the games that he's been having. You hear him after the game talk about how he gets emotional every time he steps on the court. He's so happy that he can still play. I just got a tweet during the break from SAK68. Looking good, Embiid. Trade him. Like, there are a lot of people that their reaction is not, let's root for Joel Embiid, the person. It's, let's hope he continues to play well and then trade him at the trade deadline, which I just don't see happening.
Well, the thing is just think of your premise. We don't do this in any other. We're not rooting for Trey Turner, the person. We're not rooting for we're not rooting for Brandon Marsh, the person. We're rooting for the baseball player. We're rooting for the football player.
Yeah. And Embiid's a really good basketball player when healthy.
Yeah, we're not rooting for the person. Like, that's not what we're about. We're rooting for the.
I do sometimes.
The player. We do. That's fine.
I like humans.
Yeah, but for discussions on Sports Talk Radio, we don't give a damn.
I do.
We're rooting for. We're rooting, but that's not a discussion on sports. Who do you like? Call us. It's the idea is the player contributing, and if you got a chance, and if you have a chance, there are many that do. If you have a chance to improve your basketball team with an asset that has dragged, honestly, not given you what you were supposed to get for the price, you haven't gotten any return on the investment for what you paid.
Well, that championship's coming this year. 610-632-0975. Are they winning it this year?
Oh, my gosh.
All right, but we just had Shefty on. And at the end of our conversation with Shefty, we were saying our goodbyes. And I said it, maybe next week we'll react to the offensive coordinator, because this past segment and last week was about who could the offensive coordinator be. And when I said goodbye and said we may react to the offensive coordinator next week, he said this.
And maybe there'll be even more than that by next week.
What are you hinting at?
Maybe there'll be even more than discussion than an offensive coordinator. We'll see.
The way he says it is not, and look, there could be more too. It's almost hinting at something is happening. So let's talk about this, because I already saw on our YouTube, here's content for 3 weeks. Well, first off, it's only one, because he said next week. It's not A.J. Brown being traded.
Because you can't have a player trade.
Yeah, like it's
no player.
The season's still going on.
Can't trade a player. Trade deadline's gone. Cannot trade a player till in March. So it's not a player trade. It's not a player signed by a free agent.
Right. The season's not
take
happening.
Those off.
Yeah.
So player movement is off the table.
Now, I also saw Mopar comment saying nothing's going to happen because they're not going to try to step on the feet of Super Bowl week. Super Bowl week isn't for the next week.
Correct.
There's 2 weeks until the Super Bowl. So next week is actually.
We would be talking with him next week. And yes, they are allowed to do these things there will be coaches hired before the Super Bowl.
There's going to be news next week.
There's no embargo on that at all.
The NFL, by the way, wants news next week.
Yes.
Because you can only talk about Seahawks Patriots nationally for so long. Locally, if you're a Seattle radio host or a New England radio host, you can talk about it every single day. But nationally, they want buzz. So let's try to think about this for a second. Nick Sirianni's not getting fired because there is a coordinator that they wanted.
It's not happening.
And they weren't going to get him because Nick was here.
Well,
so
you can't rule that. You can't rule that out.
Sure, I just really strongly believe that's not the case.
I believe it's not happening, but you can't rule that one. You can rule out A.J. Brown's traded. You can rule out a signing of a free agent. You can rule out player movement.
I will
no players
rule out Nick Sirianni getting fired.
Yeah, I'll rule that out. I feel I'll roll the dice on that one. So then it's, all right, what could come out of NovaCare? It's
a retirement.
And it's a concerning one, potentially.
It's got to be Lane Johnson. Right?
Well, there is one other guy.
There is one other guy.
Who do you think?
Is there a second retirement party for BG?
They're not doing.
I don't think.
They're not doing. Don't do another retirement party for Brandon.
Yeah.
Or is it a BG wants to play another year?
That's not news. I mean, that's not going to be any kind of. That doesn't even move the needle.
Yeah, that would not carry any headlines.
No.
We would talk about it for probably 5 minutes.
That doesn't even get that barely even meets the scroll.
So when you said that during the break, the Lane Johnson thing, you almost were like,
It's lame.
I think this is what it is.
I went cursing to the bathroom.
Yeah, that would
cursing
suck.
back to the bathroom.
That would suck.
No, that's what I believe, as decidedly as you believe that it's not. That's what I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. Or
he announces it his last year.
No,
that could be it.
That could
he
be
could
it.
say, hey,
something to do with. I think it's something to do with Lane. But I also have concerns about other offensive linemen and the injuries that they dealt with. Major issues that they dealt with this year. And I would wonder if, is it like with the Landon Dickerson? How bad was he injured this year? How bad was Cam Jurgens injured this year? Is it something where...
Is there surgery news that we get?
Is there major news about what's the recovery time on maybe injuries for those guys? We don't know.
Let's look at the positive. Could it be a contract extension for somebody on the defense?
Could be.
You can't do that, though, can you?
I don't.
The league year's over.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you not?
League year's over.
Okay.
League year's over.
Well, we ruled that out. Good job, guys.
Your league year's over. I don't think you can do that.
I had one other thought.
You can hire coaches. I don't think you can do that contract stuff right now. I don't think you can. Maybe, but Connor, I could be wrong. I don't think you can do that.
I have one other thought. So a couple people were saying, could it be Stoutland's out, or could because of the OC thing?
Well,
a couple people on YouTube wondering, could Vic Fangio announce his retirement? I don't think so. I
don't think Vic's going
I think Fangio
anywhere.
wants to die in the booth.
That's one of the things
frankly.
is Vic wanted to be regionally near here for this
Yeah.
reason. Plus, his defense is young, and they're his boys, his dogs.
Yeah,
he loves them.
If he watches another year of an offense that can't stay on the field, he might die in that booth.
It's the truth.
The one other thought I could think of because of the A.J. Brown stuff, he's not going to get you. He literally can't. Could there be an official request? Right? There's been the reports. Could there be A.J. Brown has officially requested a trade from the Philadelphia Eagles this offseason? Like, could that be?
I don't think that would be. I don't think
that's
that would be.
news.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be any kind of news that would. I think everybody already assumes that that's there.
Right. Well, Shefty, played a little bit last week when we were asking him about it. So could there be an official request?
Yeah.
Kay Laufrance chimes in again on YouTube, mockingly. You can't rule out Sirianni getting fired. Tell us the inside information you guys have while sitting on your asses.
No, I'm saying is you can't. That's why I say to you two both. You cannot rule that out. You could not rule that out.
There's a 1% chance it happens.
No, because if it's something where
I don't need sources to.
No, but what I'm saying to you is that what if you're saying, but you guys are saying something with 100% certainty.
Yes.
That something's not happening. Were you basing that on nothing but your feelings?
No, I'm not basing it on nothing but my feelings.
You are.
Well, it is gut
What are you
feeling.
basing it on?
Yeah.
They can't find an OC. You're going to, at this point in the head coach hiring process, can a guy
Connor, what if
like,
they're not finding it because of the coach? What if they're going through this process?
So instead of, hey, let's find an OC that could potentially work, you say to a guy that's been to 2 Super Bowls in the last, 4 seasons, yeah, get out of here?
Connor, they almost fired him twice.
Before he won one.
They almost fired him. They don't hold it.
He's not getting fired.
They don't hold it, but you cannot say with 100% certainty that
I feel comfortably
couldn't
ruling
be an
it out.
option.
How's that sound?
I feel comfortable. Ruling it out also.
If we need semantics, I feel very comfortable ruling
But it is not. How about they go through this process, and that's why I say very confidently, if he doesn't win next year, he is gone. He is absolutely gone because they're going through this process, and one thing, it's clear, and there's I don't know how many NFL insiders you have to hear it from, that they say, yeah, maybe Nick Sirianni's major part of the problem of people not wanting to come here. Jeffrey Lurie's hearing that. Howie Roseman's hearing that. And that sucks. When you have a billion-dollar asset, couple billion-dollar asset you're sitting on, and the guy you have is your CEO, the guy you have is the face of your franchise out front, other people don't want to come and work with. That's not good.
Could be.
Not good.
All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? Hit us with a quick text here, 610-632-0975.
All right, so we have a text here. Most of it is on the Bill Belichick thing, but we have a check-in here on Embiid.
By the way, Shefty was adamant about the Belichick stuff, too.
Yeah. Boy, he was great. Yeah, really
a lot
good.
of emotion there.
Really good.
But College G in Exton checks in on Embiid and says, I can see both sides of it. As a Sixers fan, I get why people can't root for Embiid. The team starts doing well. They suck you in just for you to be let down again in the playoffs.
But you're not. Then you're not a Sixers fan because you're not rooting for the Sixers. You need to. You got to root, whether you like it or not. You got to root for Embiid because the Sixers aren't doing a thing without him.
Are Jets fans not Jets fans when they root for the Jets to lose?
Well, if you're rooting for the Jets to lose to get a draft pick,
well, some
that's
people
one thing.
think not rooting for Embiid is in the best interest of what happens with the franchise. I don't think they're right, but
the best thing would be is you'd root for Embiid to do well, and then you could trade him. That would be the illogical thing to do because you're saddled with that contract that the only way you could deal with it is if somebody wants it.
All right, coming up next is the Phillies offseason save, Johnny. They have a top 10 player at a position, and they could sign a future Hall of Famer. Maybe not unanimous, depending on how some people vote.
Oh, boy.
We'll tell you what next. Also, not much surprise for this individual person because of what they've accomplished this year, but great news for an individual in Philadelphia where a lot of you were not excited about. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, let's talk about that FanDuel Sportsbook app. Last call for football. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, one final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure that you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, make it count because, after all, when the Super Bowl's done, the season's done. Football officially done. I know, I'm sad. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, first online, real money wager only, $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Keep it locked into 90.
Kincade and Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
It is 8:47 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Adam Schefter leaving us with a little bit of a cliffhanger at the end of this conversation, saying, when we asked him maybe next week we'll find out who the offensive coordinator is, he said maybe even more. And we're trying to figure out what that might be. Could be a retirement, could be a player requesting a trade, could be parting of ways of Jeff Stoutland if this continues to go the way that it does with offensive. I don't think that one's happening either, but who knows?
Well, and I've got 3 now texts of people going, well, what did he tell you off the air? I'm like, he didn't tell me off the air. He didn't give me an answer.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no information for you. I said, believe me, if I had the answer, I would tell you.
Yeah.
I would tell you, but we don't have the answer.
All right. We'll continue discussing our Eagles, but a couple Phillies and Rising Star. First off, let me do the Rising Star thing. Congratulations to VJ Edgecombe. No surprise that he will be playing that he will be playing in the Rising Stars game in the NBA because of what he's been able to accomplish this year. I'm really happy for the kid. We got to talk to him the day after the draft.
Such a good team.
We fell in love with him right away. I was pro Edgecombe selection before the draft because the Ace Bailey stuff scared me.
I didn't like
a lot.
So the weird thing is I felt bad because of Ace Bailey's representation.
I talked to somebody recently that knew the representation.
Okay. Who he's since dumped.
Knew him personally. And it's all his fault. And that's why he is no longer his representative.
Well,
and it's a shame because Ace Bailey has talent. And
wasn't it Ace's fault, though?
Yeah. Well, but he's an 18-year-old kid, and he may not know better. Now, Ace Bailey has been playing better with the Jazz. But he is not playing in the Rising Stars Challenge because he did not start off his career playing well at all. And who knows how it plays out in the long run. But right now, for what the Sixers wanted and needed, because let's face it, they have a team that could compete right now if healthy, but they also had to think about the future. Ace Bailey did not make sense with this team. I remember a lot of people wanted Ace Bailey because he could have been better for the future of the Sixers. VJ Edgecombe fits this team now and will fit whatever team they have 5 years from now. That's the type of player that he is.
That's very fair.
I was happy with the selection, and congratulations to him. He will be playing in the Rising Stars game, which is great.
Good for him. And he's been an exceptional pick.
Right.
So it's fun.
And you can't say everybody makes it because Ace Bailey's not in it. This is the point that I'm trying to get at.
It's not like Shedeur Sanders making the Pro Bowl.
Unbelievable.
Which is a joke.
All right. The Phillies.
And we like Shedeur.
Phillies have a top 10 player at a position.
What?
Hell yeah, they do.
have plenty of top 10 players at their position.
They have a top 10 left fielder. His name's Brandon Marsh.
What?
The MLB Network did their top 10 left fielders. Now, I find it very funny that a guy that does not play every day can make a list.
What are they
such as
talking
this.
about?
So somebody on our YouTube chat, I think it was Greg, points out he was tremendous from May on. And we've talked about it. He was.
Yes.
And I have said this 100 times. As harsh of a Marsh critic that I am, he's a 10-year baseball player. Like, he's not a guy that I think stinks. I don't think he's a quad A guy. It's just I don't want him as a starting outfielder on a team that's supposed to win a championship.
Yes, exactly.
Like
he's a fine player.
Yeah.
He played center field like he was lost in a circus.
He's very bad at center field. Very bad at it.
I mean, never figured out Monty's angle.
He comes in at number 10. Now, I need to know, like, how bad's left field in Major League Baseball? Because, again, he's not an everyday player. We don't, like...
At left fielder, I didn't mind him defensively.
No, but
didn't mind him,
but he's not going to play
Are you
every.
kidding me?
He's not going to play every day. At least we
Wow.
don't think he's going to platoon. They're already telling us he's platooning with Otto Kemp. Kempomania. So how can you be a platoon player and be top 10 at your position?
You can't even bat him every day.
Explain that to me, Mr. Marsh.
Oh, me?
Yeah, I know you're a big Marsh guy.
It's Mr. Thomas. I won't take his last name. This isn't Bill Colarulo.
Well,
back
you
here.
won't tell
All
the
due
marriage.
respect.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think he's a top 10 left fielder. And they did like the fan voting, and then they did their own list, and the fan voting did not have him as a top 10 left fielder.
Nobody knows who he is.
Clearly, it's arguable. No, a lot of people know who he is because of the beard and the hair.
Yeah, sure.
He's a very noticeable
Well,
player.
if they voted like noticeable players, yes.
Here's the thing with Marsh. Numbers not bad when you look at his career. The strikeout numbers are awful, which is what. Hang on. Yeah, yes. They're awful, which is why aesthetically people here in Philadelphia really hate his game. But he's a plus defensive left fielder. He's a guy that hasn't shown pop, but he's going to hit probably like 260 to 270, which is better than you could say for most people in the modern game. Not a liability out there, and he's an athletic guy.
Liability in center. Not
liability in center,
left.
not liability in left.
Horrible center. I don't know.
Boy, he's terrific.
Well, he's not playing center.
So yeah, fine. Well, for now, you never know. They like to shift him over there.
You had a chance to make though. You had a chance for him to be your fourth outfielder.
Yeah,
which would have been perfect.
He's going to be
emergency
a
guy
again.
and injuries. You had a chance to make him your top guy off the bench, and your team is much better with that.
Yeah,
but no.
Well, he's their fourth outfielder. Well, no, Otto Kemp
he's
is.
not.
They're just platooning with one another.
Otto Kemp is their fourth outfielder.
Phillies could also sign a Hall of Famer.
What?
Justin Verlander. All of a sudden, I read an article
Wait a minute,
on Fox.
Where's this?
I read an article on Fox that there are 3 destinations that make sense for Justin Verlander, the Marlins being one of them.
Well, they need help in their rotation.
And the Phillies. And so what they wrote in Fox is if they were to sign Verlander as a back end of the rotation guy. By the way, Verlander had a decent year last year. Don't look at his record because he played for a bad Giants
What was the
team.
ERA?
3.85.
That's fantastic.
Back end of rotation.
That's better than Jesus Luzardo, isn't it?
May have been. I don't know.
I think it's better than Luzardo.
But he'd be the back end of your rotation guy, and it would officially make Taijuan Walker a bullpen arm. Because right now, you're not paying a lot of money for Justin Verlander. I don't know why.
What are you talking about? What do you think you're paying for?
Oh, like what are you paying for? He's 42?
Okay, he had the same ERA as Luzardo last year.
Did he? Was that
3.92 was Luzardo. So I mean, they're like the same guy.
I just don't.
That's not bad.
He's 42 years old. He
No,
turns
no, no.
40. Oh my God, he turns 43.
Yeah, I'm
next
gonna pass.
month.
Okay, where are you I guys ask you guys respectfully. Where are you replacing the 12 wins of Ranger?
Andrew Painter.
That's your hope.
Yeah.
You're hoping.
That's what you got.
You're counting on that.
I don't think you're getting 12 wins out of 72-year-old Justin Verlander either. So
No, I'm not saying you're replacing it there. Is that you're hoping Painter, so it gives you a little bit of help there. Who's giving you the 2 months you're going to miss Wheeler?
Well, then that'll either be a veteran signing that they do or
Justin
Walker.
Verlander.
Yeah,
You're a veteran.
Verlander. I mean, like
here's the amazing thing. So 2024, he was horrendous. He had 5.48 ERA, and everyone thought it was done. I was sad that he's played with the Giants last year. Like I was sad when I was like, man, this guy just can't hang it up. And then he had a great year. And if you look at it, the year before 2023, he posted a 3.22 ERA. The year before that, 2022, when they won the World Series, he had a 1.75. He won the Cy Young. Maybe there's something left in the tank. I don't know. It'd be cool to see him wear a Phillies uniform. It could be Pedro.
Yeah.
It's the Pedro move.
All over again.
All right, coming
There
up
you go.
next, we'll reset our topic, start the 9 o'clock hour. Also, the Eagles' vacant OC job is seemingly not making anybody excited right now. I've been talking about it all day, how I'm not excited about anybody that they hire. Very honest words from an NFL player about what goes on behind the scenes. But does it mean that he's right? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
More news to come. I'm Connor Thomas, and a new name has popped up on the Eagles search for their new offensive coordinator. Sean Mannion, who's currently the Packers quarterbacks coach, is getting a second interview with the Eagles for their vacant offensive coordinator spot. And the job market, well, it's moving along. Bills picked up Joe Brady for their vacant head coaching decision, or rather promoted him. And Brian Dable heading down to Tennessee with the Titans. We talked to Adam Schefter earlier, and he did also hint at potentially more news outside of just the offensive coordinator job for the Eagles. We'll be watching the news cycle very closely with that. The Sixers had a much-needed bounce-back win last night, beat the Bucks 139-122. Tony Jones of The Athletic joined us yesterday. He talked about why this was such a big need for the Sixers to start winning games like this.
Problem is the Sixers haven't played well in a position where they're the team that should win the game. So you got to take advantage of the home games when they're there, and the Sixers largely have not done that this year.
But last night they were already able to accomplish that, so that's some good news for them. They're off tonight. Flyers are on the road in Columbus, a 7:30 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Jordan Schultz will join us coming up at 9:30. Talk a little bit more about what Adam Schefter potentially hinted at. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 The Fanatic.
97.5, The Fanatic. Earlier today on Kincade and Salciunas.
I've lost excitement, but I want to know if you have lost excitement. And the follow-up question is, does it matter? That we may not know who these candidates are, but they've had so much success since the turn of the century that maybe we should listen to what the Eagles ultimately do. But you also said it where you go, they can't tell you that they got their guy. Because I believe
no one can say
I
that.
believe in the reporting. The reporting that first came out was they wanted one of the top candidates. They wanted somebody that could have complete autonomy. This was being reported immediately. And then they didn't get those people. They didn't get those candidates. They either went elsewhere or got promoted within their own right, within their own job. And so the Eagles can't lie to me. I know what they wanted. I know what I wanted, and I don't think I or the Eagles are ultimately going to get what they originally wanted. But does that matter?
It's worked out for them fabulously 3 times. So if there's ever an organization or an owner or any team that deserves the benefit of the doubt that they cannot get their first, second, or third choice and end up with a great choice, Andy Reid was not the first, second, or third choice.
Sure.
Nick Sirianni was not the first, second, or third choice, and Doug Peterson is not the first, second, or third choice. This is an organization that tells me the work that they do, the interviews they hold, the due diligence that they perform, they tend to be able to sift through it and find it well. So I am going to trust that all the interviews the Eagles are conducting, that they can find somebody that we just don't potentially know much about.
Now back to the show.
Now, what you just said in that recap there, John Kincade, will lead us in a few minutes to what Amon-Ra St. Brown had to say on his podcast. Now, somebody may be wondering, why are you playing something from Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver of the Detroit Lions? Well, he said something about Lions fans, and I wonder if we can have that conversation here based off of the premise that you just said, hey, these guys are going to do their due diligence before hiring an offensive coordinator. That comes up in a few minutes. We've also been talking about Bill Belichick not getting inducted into the Hall of Fame and what's wrong with the voting process, that people that have personal vendettas against people is the reason why they did not want to
Shefty was great,
vote for them. Shefty was angry about it.
He was great.
And I appreciated it because that's a big name in the world of football, Adam Schefter, and he's just a reporter. And you saw on social media there were a lot of people that played or coached in the NFL that were like, how the hell did this happen? And I loved what you pointed out earlier. There's a lot of people that are quickly running to social media saying, just for the record, it was not me. So
and they're now turning it. Well, they're now turning it into they are speaking up and letting it be known by letting their votes be known. So they're now narrowing it down.
Yeah.
They're narrowing it down to where it's going to be exposed.
If you're one of these morons, I'll say it, morons that did not vote for Bill Belichick, it would probably be better if you just owned it now.
Here's what I will say. I have a friend, a longtime friend in the media, decorated member of the media. This was their thought yesterday.
Okay.
I love this person. I disagreed with them big time.
Okay.
Pleasant surprise that Bill Belichick did not make it on his first chance at the Hall of Fame. His cheating and treatment of the media, it's on to Cincinnati, did him in. 6 Super Bowls will get him in next year, but maybe this sends a message to other coaches not to be an ass.
Let's not be so sensitive. Whoever texted that.
That's what I said. That was not a text.
Respect.
That is a public post.
Oh. Well, that's sensitive.
On their public social media.
It got
That's
him.
not a text. That's a public post. Like you're proud of it.
Well, then who was it?
And if no, because it's a public post to their Facebook.
Oh,
so I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
And I'm saying so. I'm appalled by that.
It's sensitive.
Like I'm just like
all those press conferences got him.
I'm like that's not what your job is.
Sensitive.
More importantly, when you are a voter for the NFL Hall of Fame, so I pull up that criteria. And I read the extensive criteria, what you're supposed to evaluate the candidates on. Their behavior at press conferences is not supposed to come into it. It's not supposed to be part of it. So in other words, you're graced with a vote for giving someone a lifelong honor. And you start making up your own criteria because you're butthurt that Bill Belichick was on to Cincinnati. That's really bad.
Yeah, no, that's
really bad.
That's allowing your own personal feelings.
That's terrible.
I saw a tweet from Diana Rossini. I don't know if it was from this morning or from yesterday, but I just saw it this morning. Here it is. I'll read it to you. At a time when football leans harder than ever into analytics, maybe it's time Hall of Fame voting does the same. If this was strictly about numbers, the conversation's over. Bill Belichick won 6 Super Bowls. No one else has done that. Analytics would say he's an automatic entry, yet here we are. Because people allowed their feelings, and that Facebook post, on to Cincinnati. Okay, so what? Andy Reid? Just because he says I got to do a better job?
Because Andy Reid has told you nothing in press conferences for his entire life.
Andy Reid's a horrible press conference.
But Andy's one of the best.
He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
And
Let's go have a ham sandwich.
So Andy Reid's going to be a first timer, and Bill Belichick isn't. It's stupid.
What about like the John Tortorella? I don't know what his
John Tortorella will probably be a Hall of Fame coach.
He was not really friendly in press conferences.
No. Oh, there are more butthurt.
Is that going to keep people from voting for him? Maybe.
Yes.
Clearly.
There will be. Are you kidding me?
It's ridiculous.
There will be.
Yeah, what did Pop ever say? Yeah, Greg Popovich in press conference. I mean,
he says a lot. A lot of it usually not about basketball, but he says a lot.
Exactly. But he's not like answering the questions like
Yes.
He's very flippant to a lot of stuff as well.
Doc Rivers literally said, "Go ahead, play the drop."
You don't know basketball.
Like, what are you doing here?
I don't understand it.
Just vote if they're good coaches or not.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, like, look, to me.
It should be that simple.
Greg Popovich, one of the greatest. Like, he's just the greatest. Just open a door for him, walk him in, give him a plaque, give him a podium.
Yeah.
There shouldn't even. Why is there a vote?
Hell,
like for people like
I don't
him.
even know why we need to do the 5-year thing.
Well, no, but you do because you want to make sure they're retired.
Yeah, well, hello, Phillip Rivers.
Exactly.
All right, so you heard John in the little recap there talking about, look, I understand that there's people, me, hello, Andrew Salciunas, that aren't excited about the candidates that are still out there. But these names that we don't know, like I can't give you an educated response to the Eagles interviewing Sean Mannion or request. I can't give you an educated one. I can say that he's the quarterback's coach at Jordan Love, and that's and he played in the NFL.
I couldn't have yesterday, and all I can give you today is research that I've done.
Right.
I can't give you anything but regurgitating other people's research.
Sure. Now, what I will say is I am just afraid of somebody that has never called it before, considering what I just went through this past season. But to your point, Sean Mannion is talked about a lot differently than the way Kevin Petullo was
correct.
And ever had been. So Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You know how long Sean Mannion's been in the NFL?
5 minutes?
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. Kevin Petullo, 17 years.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
There's a reason why Kevin Petullo and Sean Mannion are not alike. There's your reason.
Yeah.
15 seasons of exposure, and people already know, hey, this Mannion guy, he's got something to him. Let's talk to him.
All right. We'll get our text messages here momentarily, 610-632-0975, but I want to play something for you. So every once in a while, you hear somebody say something, and you go, man, I wonder how that would fly here. I remember last year when we were doing this show, I think it was Kayvon Thibodeau, but somebody on the Giants, they were getting booed going into halftime, and then they came back and won in the second half, and during his post-game press conference, he basically said, we don't play for them. And he was talking about Giants fans.
Wow.
And I remember us talking like, how would that go over here? Because I get it. Like, we all we need. Right? Like, that was one of the rallying cries of the 2017-18 Eagles. Malcolm Jenkins, we all we need. And I heard Jalen Hurts say that at one point this year.
Denver was using it this year, too.
Were they?
Yeah.
So, like,
didn't work out.
I get it. Once they go into the locker room, sometimes I imagine players go, man, God, screw those fans out there. They annoy the hell out of me. Screw the media, screw all that kind of stuff. Like, I get it. So Amon-Ra St. Brown has his St. Brown podcast. And he does it with his brother. And they were talking about the hiring of, was it Mike Kafka?
Kafka joined their offensive staff, but he's not offensive coordinator.
Right. So whoever the OC was that they hired, nobody was really thrilled about. I forget who it was, but it wasn't a name that people were like, oh, yeah, this is Drew, how do you say his last name? Drew Petzing?
Petzing,
Drew,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever. He was a guy that nobody was like, yeah, great hire. And so,
because people had to do the research.
Amon-Ra St. Brown took to his podcast and said this.
Bro, I see crazy Lions fans talking crazy, like, oh, why would we do this? Like, bro, do you guys, like, have no trust in Dan? like in the Lions. Like, you think they would just hire a random dude? Like, be for real. Like, you think they don't know what they're doing? They don't do the research. They don't interview. Like, most of you guys don't know really much about anything, about any ball.
Wow.
And you're tweeting about a coach that was hired that you guys don't like because of XYZ.
Now, the way when he goes, you don't know ball, I would imagine there are some Lions fans that are upset with that because somebody pointed out that Amon-Ra said very similar things last year about the reaction to John Morton, the offensive coordinator.
When Johnny Morton was hired.
Who they then fired.
I'd have to hear what he said, but
yeah, apparently somebody said you just said this last year when people were upset about Morton.
Okay.
So it's kind of wrong for you to say it after we were right, but I get what he's trying to say without having to do the whole you don't know ball. Like, they're not just going to hire a random person.
It is hilarious though because you get it, and I had a few people saying to me on Instagram comments, and you try to interact with people as long as they're just keeping it somewhat friendly, and it's like, well, what do you know?
Right.
What do you know about this? And I say, instead of asking me that, tell me what you think I don't know. Tell me what you think I'm saying that is factually incorrect, and I'll explain to you where it's coming from. Don't tell me who told you that. I'm not going to tell you that, but I'm going to tell you is what do you think you don't know? Because what I've been telling you is sort of coming to fruition. And so what do you think is not right? People don't want to hear a lot of stuff. There's people who don't want to hear stuff about their teams.
Sure.
And
that's why we had that conversation last week about why is there so much anger sometimes over an opinion or a question. It was a great day. I really enjoyed the conversation we had.
And I think Eagles, to me, I think Eagles fans are like Flyer fans are very, very critical of their team. Eagles fans are very, very critical of their team. Phillies fans go to like whatever length it is to excuse make for their team. It's weird. It's like each Twitter universe is its own entity. It's like they dig in. But I just said to people, I'm like, okay, instead of saying to me, you don't know what you're talking about, tell me what you say I'm incorrect about, and then we can have a conversation on it. If you think you know, tell me what you think you know.
Yeah, conversing
and have a conversation. Like, just say, look, I don't mind if you can tell me that I don't have any problem with you telling me I think you're an idiot on that take, or if you're going to be nice about it. See, I think your take's way off base.
Look, if Amon-Ra doesn't drop the whole you guys don't know ball, it's a little bit of a different energy in terms of the reaction. But again, apparently he said similar things last year, and he ended up.
Let's put it this way: it's not exactly. You're not. It's not rocket science to understand football.
Yeah.
It is rocket science to more understand all the inner workings. That's why I always say when I watch the All 22, I don't bluff anybody and go, "Yeah, I was watching the All 22, and man, I was seeing this and that." No. And I'll even ask, and I will say, I'll even ask DeCecco stuff like, okay, I'm watching this. And I'll say, I've texted him questions before when I'm watching it. There's stuff I don't get, but I'm willing to ask questions to learn more.
That's why that 6-minute video from Mike McDaniel last week that
was
popped
amazing.
Up was fast. Did you see the one with Schulhase?
Yes.
The one that how he designs like that stuff.
It's amazing.
I'm not. I that's not my world.
Yeah, but you know what though?
I do fingers in the dirt in the backyard.
You know what though?
And it's hitch routes.
When I watch it, I am the biggest dork for that.
Yeah, no, you love it.
I could watch that content. I could watch that content for hours.
All right, Connor, what do we got on the text line? By the way, Jordan Schultz, National Football Reporter, going to be joining us coming up at 9:30.
Grab a Starbucks.
More on the Eagles OC search and what people think about the job around the league. He joins us coming up at 9:30. But what do we got on the text line there, Connor, at 610-632-0975?
Got a lot of stuff going on, and part of it is the reaction to what Adam Schefter teased without giving us exactly what the information was. Jason from Bluebell is thinking retirement, and he says the worst possible retirement would be Vic Fangio. The second worst would be Jeff Stoutland.
I just don't see Fangio retire. I mean, I guess
I don't think
he's 67 years old. He could, but
I dug up 3 comments I have dug up 3 comments from Vic because I looked at that because I don't want to rule anything out. 3 comments from this year about Vic Fangio and how much he enjoys the coaching and he's having. I don't buy that at all.
Yeah,
so I don't buy that.
All right, what else we got?
All right, we also have a check-in on our discussion on the Eagles' offensive coordinator hiring. Joe from Boston says, what if in all these interviews candidates are signaling an unwillingness to work with Nick? Is that a possibility? And maybe they pulled the trigger for a Sean McDermott.
See, I don't
want that.
I don't see
Gosh,
it
I don't want
happening.
that.
I understand that we can't rule it out.
No, you cannot rule it out.
I just don't see a world where on January 30th they go, you know what?
Okay.
Let's just fire him.
All right, let me ask you. Again, just say you've gone through an offensive coordinator search.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Lurie's been involved in some of these. And all they're hearing is, nah. And the head coach they're getting, the feedback they're getting is the people aren't big on the head coach. And they've almost fired the head coach twice. You just can't rule it out. We all three are not spreading any, we're not sitting here going, let's do a topic to get everybody riled up. But to rule it out completely would be negligent.
I mean, I disagree. I just don't think there's any way with where you're at in the job cycle, with how many coaches that have already been hired.
All right, how about Clint Kubiak?
Okay.
Clint Kubiak is one of the hottest names in football. He is the offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks.
How do you sell this to the players?
What do you mean?
Think about that. How do you go in and say, okay, you did all of these, and this coach that has just taken you to 2 Super Bowls in the past 4 years.
They're still going to play.
What do you mean?
I know they're still going to play, but there are folks in that locker room that love to play for Nick Sirianni. What does it say about the organization that after having the trust in him to go through all these offensive coordinator hirings, they just say, screw it. 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win, you're out on your
Those
ass.
players all know that he was almost fired twice.
Right.
What Jeff McClain and others have reported. They all know that his job was on the line twice.
Before he won a ring.
Yeah, but I don't think that is changing they know what goes on in that building.
It would just be so.
It would be. No. I'm not trying to paint you as like you're being naive.
Right.
It would be crazy if it happened.
The Eagles do everything the right way. When was the last time the Eagles had a move where it was just like, oh my God, they completely screwed over X, Y, Z?
The Eagles firing Doug Peterson was certainly shocking to people around the NFL.
Worked out for the Eagles, but it was a shock.
It was considered shocking, and that was certainly not considered them doing it the right way.
Right, and the reason that happened was because Doug spat in the face of the organization, said, you want me to fire this guy, and I will not do it. And they said, okay, you're putting us in a spot where we can't.
But some would say he deserves the respect to be able to have say. And that a lot of people did say, I think McClain said it to us a while back, that, look, part of the Patullo promotion was Nick won a Super Bowl. He was respected, and he was able to have a much more say on who the next OC was.
Yeah, but Nick, on the other hand, he bent the knee. He's done what they've asked him to do.
Oh, yeah.
He's given up responsibility in every way possible.
Job. Yeah.
So it's not happening.
I think that you could easily go through a process where you're talking to so many people around the NFL, and you're talking to them, and they all go, yeah. The real reason? Look, Nick's not in the room here. Tell us. Yeah, I'm not really interested in working with him.
I just don't hear.
I could easily see that.
But
being
here's why I don't see it happening where he would be fired. Those candidates are already gone, unless the Kubiak.
And also,
right? Like those candidates are gone.
What if those candidates won?
What about Schilhace?
Yeah,
he's being talked about as if he's not going to be a head coach this time around, he's going to be a head coach.
What's he won? What have any of these guys won? Why does their opinion outweigh the record of the head coach?
What I'm going to say to you is those guys, I will tell you, each have incredible resumes compared to what Nick Sirianni had when he got hired here. He had won nothing.
Okay.
He'd won nothing.
Now he has, and he is yours, and you are going to throw that away on the opinion of someone from outside the organization because they don't want to work.
How about an
under the
overwhelming opinion?
Screw the overwhelming opinion. This guy has ring.
What if it's their opinion in the building, Connor? They almost fired him twice.
Yeah.
Before the Super Bowl. Zach Berman said it to us. That changes things significantly.
It can change your opinion as far as that they that they did win, but not about his potential abilities. And he showed again this year that he can't help the plane out of the nosedive.
Yeah, he can't help.
But here's another one, too, we didn't think of. And give a credit to Wide Receiver Nation 123. Also could be a new stadium announcement.
Could be.
That'd be kind of lame.
No, But it could be because,
especially if it's a dome.
It could be because if you're talking about the stadium, they have to be in the link through the 2031 season. That could also be on a timeline.
Could be. Also, we got a good tweet from our man Tommy Reardon.
Hi, Tommy.
Stafford Goff trade, obviously
Did
not
go through.
official until whatever date, but it was announced January 30th of 2021. So the A.J. Brown thing, maybe there is a deal in place. It just won't go down until the new league year starts.
That is correct.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, that could very well be, that could something happen, and great job there, Tommy.
Yeah.
On that one. So you could put a deal together that doesn't go through till March.
Or Adam Schefter tells us he traded VJ Edgecombe from his fantasy basketball team.
But I promise you it's not, yes, there's something to this. Adam's not doing this to have it be nothing.
He's going to tell us his daughter got hired as the lead reporter.
For the Slime Bowl.
Coming up next, Jordan Schultz. What has he been hearing on the vacant OC job? We'll get some insight on another national reporter next. Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All this talk about OC jobs, makes me thirsty. So come out with me and my friends at Corona this Saturday, January 31st.
You're always thirsty. Come on. For Corona, you're always thirsty.
Like I said, dry January ended Sunday, so I had a cocktail yesterday. It was nice. I'll be at the Borough Pub in Bristol this Saturday from 6:30 to 8:30 for a Sixers pregame party that you don't want to miss. I'll be there getting you ready for tip-off. We've got awesome drink specials all night long. How about $4 Modelo drafts, $4 Corona bottles? Perfect way to kick off your Sixers night. And here's the best part. You can win a pair of Sixers tickets to an upcoming home game. So grab your friends. Stop by the Borough Pub in Bristol and hang out with us from 6:30 to 8:30 for the Saturday night Sixers pregame party, official Fanatic pregame party, hosted by me, Andrew Salciunas, in partnership with Corona. You got to be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly. For more details, visit 975thefanatic.com. We'll see you there.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A new name on the Eagles' radar. I'm Connor Thomas, and a new name has popped up for the Birds as they continue their search for their new offensive coordinator. That name? Sean Mannion, if you're not familiar with him, a quarterbacks coach in Green Bay. Currently, the Eagles have a second interview with him scheduled. This comes the day after the Buffalo Bills pick Joe Brady for their vacant head coaching spot. And Brian Daboll is heading to Tennessee to be the offensive coordinator of the Titans. So we'll keep you updated as the Eagles seem to be narrowing down, maybe not by their work, but by the hiring of other teams, their offensive coordinator search. Sixers had a much-needed bounce-back win last night over the Milwaukee Bucks, 139-122. Joel Embiid, 29 points. Paul George, 32, including 9 threes. Tony Jones of The Athletic joined us yesterday, and he talked about the opportunity in the Eastern Conference.
There are two things that are working for the Sixers right now. Joel Embiid is relatively healthy. He's playing at a really, really high level, and the Eastern Conference is as wide open as I've remembered it in quite a while.
So the Sixers took advantage of an opportunity last night. They are off tonight. Flyers are on the road in Columbus, 7:30 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that game live right here on The Fanatic. Coming up next, Jordan Schultz, National NFL Insider, will join us, talk a little bit about the Eagles OC search and potential other news. This update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic.
From the city that demands
The final hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
I can't wait for like 9:48 to tell you about a bet that was made during the commercial break where I would do the show butt-ass naked.
Now, you'd have to do it in a box.
Yeah.
Because there would be some rules about that.
The egregious,
You're safe. You're safe.
The egregious thing that Connor Thomas said during the commercial break, I'm appalled. We'll get to that later on, but joining us now does a tremendous job covering the National Football League. We reference him a lot because he's breaking news a lot. That, of course, the great Jordan Schultz. Jordan, good morning. How are we doing today?
Guys, we're doing great. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on, especially as we are still trying to figure out what the hell is going on with the vacant OC spot here in Philadelphia. So curious, what have you been hearing as you've been talking to people around the league as to why the position has yet to be filled?
You know, it's an interesting question because it is to me, it's a very attractive position because of the personnel, the talent, the organization, the fan base. I think Howie Roseman and the organization are being deliberate. It's not a position that they can afford to miss on. You know, what happened this year, I think, with Kevin Patullo and just how disappointing the offense was, the lack of creativity, you know, you can't repeat that. And we've seen Philadelphia over the last few years have a lot of success with the position, followed by a lack of success. And when you have a lot of success, especially as an organization, you see your staffs poached, whether it was Kellen Moore, and then obviously before that it's Brian Johnson. Now you have Patullo. They really have a lot of pressure right now. And so I wouldn't say I'm worried, but if I was an Eagles fan, I'd probably be curious as to why it hasn't happened. Then again, if you look around the league, offensively, defensively, 15, I think, on offense and 18 defensive coordinator positions, something like that. It's an incredibly volatile position right now.
Jordan, when you talk to people around the league about the Eagles opening and about the Eagles situation as a whole, do you hear more people thinking that a bigger hurdle is dealing with Nick Sirianni or dealing with Jalen Hurts?
That's a really good question. I think it's probably more the former because, first of all, Patullo, obviously, and Sirianni, very close. And so when you're following that, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do because you're thinking, if he was really tight with Patullo and Patullo didn't have any autonomy or enough autonomy, what's going to happen with me? I don't think there's a deterrent with Jalen because you've seen him have so much success, and I know this year didn't work the way that anybody wanted. But you know, Sirianni, it's not that he's not well respected because he is. He is very well respected. I think the difference is that you have an organization that is, I don't want to say set in its ways, but it's not going to maneuver or be perhaps as flexible as others. And so when you ask about Sirianni, I think there's perhaps a perception that if I go there as an OC, I'm not going to have potentially the amount of creativity or flexibility that I would elsewhere. But I'm not under the impression, having spoken to a lot of people, that this is a job that's not interesting to coordinators.
Now, Jordan, and of course, check out Jordan's show on YouTube, The Schultz Report. What is it that you've heard that the Eagles may not be flexible about? We can tinfoil cap it all we want about assistant coaches and style of play, but what have you heard about why they may not or what they may not be flexible with?
I think Philadelphia is, when you've had the type of success that the Eagles have had, whether it's with Howie, Nick Sirianni, you are given when you've had that type of success, you're almost like, it's not that again that you're set in your ways, but it's like we have the autonomy as an organization to operate the way we want. And so when you think about that job and the fact that Kevin Patullo's home was vandalized this year, and that you have so much pressure. I think people look at that and they think, well, it's a very specific type of person that's going to succeed there. There's a tremendous amount of internal pressure, and if you're Nick Sirianni and you come off winning a Super Bowl, and then you have this type of season, it's almost like Super Bowl or bust. It's almost like taking a job at Notre Dame or Alabama in college football, where if you don't have an undefeated season or if you don't have a Super Bowl or a national championship, it's absolutely unacceptable. And some guys, some coordinators are not, I don't know if mentally strong is the right word. Maybe I wouldn't say that, but they're not going to go into that position and say, this is the job for me. So when I say it's a very specific type of person, that's what I mean. Certain guys are simply not going to jump at the opportunity to work for the Eagles. And so I guess that's probably the best, most simple way I could put it.
How do you think about working with a guy when you're assuming that Jeff Stoutland's here, the run game coordinator? That tells you that you're the offensive coordinator. They said the new guy is going to have total autonomy, but you've already got a run game coordinator who's staying.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the things that's come up a couple times for me now with potential coordinators. Basically, the idea that if I go to Philadelphia, not only am I having to answer to the head coach, which is normal, but Jeff Stoutland has a tremendous amount of power and autonomy in that building. And that's not common, certainly not at this level, that an offensive or that a run game coordinator, that an offensive line coach would have that type of power. And so when I think about the quality of candidates that have interviewed there, the name that has come up to me that is probably the most interesting, at least the two names. One is Frank Smith, who already interviewed, and I think is the type of personality that would work well there. The other is Sean Mannion. And when I mention him, I'm very specific because out of this coaching cycle, there's been like 2 or 3 young coaches that continually come up. Durante Jones, who obviously we know well, goes to the Commanders, the defensive coordinator, and Sean Mannion, 32, 33 years old, former NFL quarterback. He is someone that has been mentioned to me as this is the type of young coach that is going to be a head coach, almost like I heard with Davis Webb 2 or 3 years ago. I think Josh Grizzard from Tampa is another one I've reported, and I know Eagles fans are disappointed not to get Brian Daboll, but I just never felt like he was really in the mix with Philadelphia.
Jordan Schultz joining us here on Kincade and Salciunas. While we have you, obviously the biggest story here in Philadelphia the last 2 weeks has been the future, new OC in Philadelphia. But we've been talking for an entire year about A.J. Brown. One local reporter said there is a 0% chance he's playing for the Eagles next season. Curious to hear what you've been hearing about A.J. Brown.
So during the season, it was legitimately impossible to trade A.J. Brown. The contract did not permit it. After the season, I think it is absolutely possible. He's under contract, I want to say, for 4 more. And when you think about the quality of player he is and the fact that he's still only 28 years old, his asking price should be quite high. And he will be one of the most coveted, I would say, trade players or prospects in football. And when you think about this season, the fact that it went as poorly as it did, he still had, 80 catches, had 1,000 yards. If that's the absolute worst version of A.J. Brown, he's still a very productive player. So I would say that when I think about who I'm watching, especially star players that could be on the move, A.J. Brown is at the top of the list. I think Max Crosby is another one. Who are the type of players that have had a lot of success, and yet either in Max Crosby's case, they're very far away from winning, or in A.J. Brown's case, they are clearly not on the same page. So, I think you're looking at that key deadline, June 1st. If he's traded before June 1st, then Philadelphia has a dead cap of over $43 million. If he ends up on the roster in 2026, then that is cut in half. So to me, when I think about if A.J. Brown's traded, it's still very early, but I'd say it's very possible, and you really want to look at June 1st because of that dead cap hit.
Are you hearing anything about retirements, like on the offensive line? We're sort of worried about Lane Johnson potentially hanging him up.
Yeah. So see, what is he? 34, 35? Future Hall of Famer, and the numbers are incredibly polarizing. When he's not playing, I think they're 3 and 4. When he is playing, he's 8 and 2, and those numbers bear it out over time as well. I haven't asked that question. It would surprise me at this point if he is going to retire. I still feel like he's playing at such an all-pro caliber level. So I haven't asked that question, full transparency, but I feel like I would have heard by now, and so I would say it would surprise me if he did.
Jordan, one more thing. You mentioned that it would have been impossible to trade A.J. Brown last year. Yeah. During the season. Did you hear whether or not he wanted to be traded during the season?
I never really felt like he necessarily wanted to. I just knew that there was a lot of discourse and frustration. It's interesting because when you ask around about A.J. Brown, you hear that he's enormously close with Devontae Smith, with Jahan Dotson, with Saquon Barkley. And there's a clear we actually had him on the show earlier in the season. I think it was like week 3. And this is obviously before a lot of this stuff went downhill. And but I asked him basically about his current situation, and he was so positive that it surprised me then when I heard later on in the season that he wanted to leave, rumors around the league. So I was never convinced that he wanted to be traded, but I think now after the season, it certainly makes sense. And considering, the quality of player and the money that you're committing to him, you could get back, and you would get back, a massive haul, in my opinion.
You think first-round pick is on the table? I would find it hard to believe with that contract, but you see massive haul seems like you believe it could.
I don't know if a 1 would do it. I'm not sure I'm there yet because of the contract and the 4 more years, but I think you could certainly get a really good, let's say, quality day 2 pick, a 2 or a 3, maybe another player in return. If he was 31 or 32 and really at the end, I'd say no. But the fact that he's going to turn, I think, 29 this summer, and you have in his game too. I asked one executive about this a couple weeks ago at the end of the season. Not what he would require in terms of asking price, but how does he, the quality of player, and basically the response was A.J. Brown's game is not really predicated on crazy athleticism and speed. He's a powerful receiver, and he's always been a great hands catcher. I know he had a bad drop late in the year, but he's always been a great hands catcher. So to me, when you think about A.J. Brown long term, you're still going to get the quality of player the next few years. So I wouldn't say day 1, I wouldn't say first rounder, but I certainly think a 2 or a 3 would do it.
Check out the Schultz Report on YouTube. Also, this show called Why is Draymond Green Talking About Football with co-host Draymond Green. We appreciate the time, Jordan.
Thanks,
we'll talk to
buddy.
you again soon.
Thanks, Jordan.
My pleasure, guys. Take care.
There's Jordan Schultz, NFL insider, does a tremendous job.
And a guy who, if you think, doesn't have to work.
Yeah.
I mean, you would, like in life, he's just been a hustler his whole life.
Yeah. I respect it. All right, coming up next. Could I do a show naked? It's not going to happen. But there is a bet in place. Connor, I was appalled. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Got to tell you that when you've been in business for around 4 decades, it means that you've been doing something right. You've gotten people's trust. And when you're talking about issues of money, people better trust you. And that's why Dan White & Associates have been so successful. They specialize in retirement and financial planning. And how do they get such trust? Well, they individualize their approach to each and every client. They've got offices in Glen Mills, PA, Middletown, and Lewis, Delaware. And what they do is they have these seminars, too, throughout Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland, where you can go and you can be a passive listener. And by the way, you can be an active eater, too. I've had a nice dinner, listened to the presentation, and they talk to you about how they can help people, whether it's about setting a budget, whether it's about finances and retirement. Look, it can be a really overwhelming topic, but you got to have these conversations. And they offer you a complimentary, no-risk consultation. You don't have to have this conversation in front of anybody else. Just can be you one-on-one with your spouse or whatever. Just check out danwhiteandassociates.com on the web. They're great, great people, and their individualized approach has made them so successful. They educate their clients. You're going to be educated. You're going to feel better. Check out danwhiteandassociates.com.
Is coming your way now.
All right, before we talk about this bet where I would do the show butt-ass naked, even though it's not going to happen, did you see Danny Green? Second mention of Danny Green today. Because Paul George hit 9 threes yesterday en route to the Sixers win over the Bucks. He's the fourth Sixer to accomplish that. Dana Barros being the first, Danny Green being the second, Tyrese Maxey being the third, and now Paul George, the fourth Sixer all-time to hit 9 threes in a game. That is the most ever by a Sixer. Danny Green does a podcast called No Fouls Given. He's also been doing stuff with ESPN. I think he's actually tremendous as a media person and analyst.
Yeah, I think he's talented.
Yeah, very talented. He talked about the Simmons saga.
Yeah, it was going to be in headlines yesterday.
And he talked about the practices. Remember, there were a lot of people that refuted the cell phone? He confirmed that it was a cell phone in his pocket. I don't understand why that was being refuted. It was a square shape in a pocket that lit up. But
I mean, seriously.
Was he at Applebee's waiting for his table?
Do they still do that?
Yes, they do.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what else that would have been. So Danny Green confirms that it was a phone and that he was purposely getting kicked out of practice. And that's why, still to this day, I think it's such a horrific thing that Ben Simmons tried playing the mental health card. Because remember, there was a loophole in the clause that you can be withheld money, but because it was due to mental health, you're going to get paid.
He's such a scammer.
And he's a scam artist, and it's why when people get these warm and fuzzy feelings about welcoming him back, oh man, what if he gets right after his fishing trip?
You know,
I strongly dislike that person. I'm not even talking basketball player. That's a bad human being.
When you're hanging, when you hide behind something,
that's serious.
Like a mental health issue where people they're struggling with it.
Yeah.
And you're going to hide behind it just so you can get paid and take your little vacations and hang out with the Kardashians and go to your little parties in LA.
He's a disgusting human being.
It's a disgrace.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Absolute disgrace. And by the way, nobody in NBA circles was believing it.
No, nobody.
He is he's a pariah. What are the Sixers Eastern Conference odds, by the way, as of this morning? As far as what seed do you think?
Seed, I'll go fifth,
sixth.
All right, so they're sixth right now.
Okay. By the way, very close though to fifth. Orlando's the 5 seed odds 10-1. Sixers 11-1.
Yeah, they're waiting for Orlando to get healthier.
And but the Sixers right now above the line. Miami 16-1 right now to win the Eastern Conference.
They're just half a game back.
Sixers 11-1 odds to win the Eastern Conference though.
It's
how about that?
Windy said it last week.
How about that?
Brian Windhorst said it last week. Like, hey, don't sleep on the Sixers.
Now Boston's 4-1.
Yeah, and
Detroit's plus 350.
You know why? Because Jason Tatum could come back this year.
Detroit's plus 350.
Yeah.
Boston and the Knicks are 4-1, and Boston continues to just be such a great organization.
They're a great organization.
Cleveland 5-1, then Orlando 10-1, Sixers 11-1.
All right, let's go Sixers.
That's a positive.
Who's the
thing.
three? Who's three? Because that would be the matchup. Who's the
3 would be the Knicks or the Celtics.
So Sixers, Knicks, or Sixers, Celtics.
That's not a good matchup
in round one
for a 7-game series.
Bring it on, baby. Let's do it again.
It's 7, right? It's 7.
Yes, yeah, it's all 7.
Yeah, it's not good. That's not good.
All right, Connor, go ahead. What did you say during the break?
You said that if Otto Kemp hits 25 or more home runs this year, you'll do the show naked.
Now, why did I say that?
Because I was trying to explain why the Phillies are okay with like him and Brandon Marsh.
You said Otto Kemp, quote, has 25 home run season power.
No, I did not, and that's an incorrect quote.
John, John, you were right there.
I'm right there, and Connor, you are absolutely.
No, I said they believe he has that. I was trying to tell you why the Phillies believe in him based on the numbers. That's it.
I could have sworn you said you felt that, but
you said over 162, and that there's the belief that you could do this. So
exactly. That's not me saying he's going to do this. He's able to.
So then why would you be arguing?
Because you ask the question all the time. Why would they do this?
This is a data-driven organization,
right?
That studies data like nobody's business. They know that Otto Kemp is not a Major League Baseball, an everyday Major League Baseball player. They know he's a quad A player.
What data do you have that tells you that?
Mr.
27-year-old, 27-year-old that has never been able to crack.
Now,
yes, because
that's not a data point, guys.
All right, I'll just say it again.
When has that not been a data point?
Here, how about this? I'll go further. If Otto Kemp ever hits 25 home runs in a season, I will do the show naked. So if it's 2027, 2028, 2029, I will do the show naked.
Connor, a minor league baseball player not making it to the major leagues and not being able to crack a lineup to be even an everyday player by that age, That is a great data point.
You're right. That means he'll never hit 25 home runs ever because he's 27 years old.
But it's always been a data point on a player's viability as to how good they are.
There are numbers that project his power. I don't believe them, but they exist, and the Phillies do. That's all I'm trying to say.
I must miss these numbers. I don't read these numbers. I'm a vibe
He
guy.
hit over like 150 games between two levels last year. He had 24 home runs.
You can't count two levels. Major League level's only the one that matters.
Okay, you don't believe in it. That's fine. I don't either. But I'm telling you where the numbers are. It's not me saying he's going to hit 25. It's me telling you that's what the Phillies think.
The most home runs he's ever hit in
a
a season is 16. You might be looking at doubles. He had 24 doubles.
No. Last year over two levels.
16 in AAA, 8.
Yes.
But you can't project AAA is tomato can pitching.
I don't buy it either. But if you ask me why they're doing something, I'm going to tell you why.
The Phillies aren't buying that.
We got to go. Middays with Marks. Jason Martinez in house coming up next here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.